3 races to go in the 2022 XCAL Racing $5 Tuesday Series. And we have brought the best street stock drivers in the world to the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway, baby, where tonight we honor the Cancer Research Institute with 444 laps at Bristol. So happy you could be joining us on How to Suck at iRacing alongside Doug Burns working the buttons in the booth, as well as driver analyst Robert Colgan. I'm Marty Sakala. Robert, I'll begin with you here. It's 444 laps around a high-banked half-mile oval. What are the drivers about to get themselves into tonight?
Well, what's going to be really interesting is the fact that a lot of drivers are starting with EOLs, and typically, most XCAL races, everyone's around the same people almost every race. You start to get comfortable with those people. Now it's all stirred up, and you're at a short track on steroids, so it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely, and now we'll bring in Doug here. We had an insane race last weekend at Lanier, and in fact, I believe we had the most penalties we had of the season, which is leading to a lot of drivers starting from the rear and some with one strike.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild one last week, and I think there's still some frustration out there with some of the drivers that could come out on track again here tonight. So these guys are going to have to be careful and be extraordinarily patient here tonight, or else they're going to get into trouble.
Absolutely. Let's begin by talking with some of our pre-race drivers. First guy we'll talk with here is Ryan Seams, who is starting from the 6th position tonight. Ryan, that seems like a good position you want to be starting at here at Bristol Motor Speedway, but how tough is it going to be tonight to try and stay in the front for 444 laps?
It's going to be extremely tough to stay in the front. Like, this track, you're just going really fast, and the car new damage model is iffy, so we'll find out how well it's going to go.
We know what you're known for in the chat. You got a lot of fans out there. Anything you want to give them a shout out to for? Any message you want to give them?
Yeah, I want to thank all my fans for supporting, me, watching me, and supporting XCAL. I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Seams because, he's off to college. I wish him well.
All right, man. Well, we'll let you go. Best of luck, and we know Nick is watching in the chat.
Thank you, Marty.
Ryan Seams is starting from 6th position tonight. Our next driver we'll talk about is the driver of the number 420 machine, and that, of course, is Matt Bear. Matt, let's talk about it. You're starting from 21st position tonight. This is going to seem like, for you, a race of patience. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, it's going to be fairly interesting here tonight. I mean, there's going to be a bunch of morons with no speed up in the front, and we're going to have to try to find a way through there. I don't really know what is going to happen. We've got people that didn't even run heat races that are starting inside the top 15, and so, I mean, who knows, man. I got a feeling it's not going to be good, though.
Hey, well, Matt Baird, when you say morons, is there anyone in particular?
I mean, there's just a few people. I mean, you got Rocky Boyd, you've got Jeremy Leto. I know Leto's starting up in the top 15, so Rocky, he's got to go through the whole field, and I expect by the time he gets to 25th, he'll done wreck the back half of the field. So for it to be a rivalry, you have to finish the race first. So maybe we can do that once he figures out how to go from A to B and run the full race.
Keep in mind as well, Jeremy Leto did win the previous Bristol race here.
No, there were 3 cars. No offense, but that does not count. I could have drove that race in reverse with blindfolded and won that race. That doesn't count. You can say it does, but it doesn't.
All right, one more question before we let you go. Do you play 2K on the PC?
Boy, do I play 2K. Now holla at your boy and we can get down. I'm up to an 84 overall on the grind. Got most of my badges unlocked, and we ready to go into the rec center. So
oh boy. Oh boy, this man about to kick some butt here. All right, Matt, good luck tonight.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to y'all later.
That is Matt Bear, who is starting from P21 on the grid. Our next driver we'll be talking with is Rocky Boyd. Boyd in car number 60. He's starting from 32nd with a strike and an EOL here tonight. Rocky, I guess I'll begin with this because you're starting from 32nd and you do have a strike on the grid. How conservative do you have to be throughout this race, and at what point in the race do you decide it's time to get a little bit aggressive?
I mean, we've got 440 44 laps, and you know, we've got a lot of cars out here. It's going to be just a key of survival like it was last week, and it's just going to be very difficult with how wide this track is. You know, it's going to get multi-groove, and you're going to see guys running the bottom, guys running the top. Patience is going to be key, but you know, starting at the back, the leaders are going to be coming pretty quick, so it's just going to be about managing my pace through the field and how conservative but quick I can get to the front throughout this event.
Absolutely. All right, Rocky, we'll let you go, man. Best of luck to you tonight.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Absolutely, that's Rocky Boyd. Now, our final driver we'll be talking with in a big storyline here is your points leader, Austin Eros, in the number 18. Austin needs to finish 9th or better, and he clinches the 2022 championship tonight. That's the biggest storyline coming on in. But Austin, we missed you last week. Where in the world were you?
Well, to be honest with you, Marty, that last Tuesday was my mom's birthday, and luckily, thanks to all the XCAL winnings I was winning all year, we was able to take her out to a nice dinner to BJ's, which was a good time. So, got to sit back and relax at BJ's, watch the broadcast on my phone, and watch Mike Ashby lose internet, which was a good time. So, thank goodness we had a good run all season, and we got the points just about clinched up here.
Did you get her a free T-shirt from the XCAL Racing web shop?
I was thinking about it. Now, if I can win Bristol here, I'll have those few extra bucks that I can buy one. But
all right.
Speaking of that, Marty, if you do go to xcalracing.com/shop, you can buy a T-shirt. It's got a target on the back, and it's based off of me. Because, man, I tell you, I think I got a target on my back tonight. There's a lot of hot tempers coming through here, just throughout, little grudges throughout the season between, shoot, you name it. Could be Bear, could be Campbell. I know Campbell don't like me right now, but definitely a target on my back right now. I think people know if they junk me every 3 races that I can have a chance of not winning the championship. So we're gonna hope that I can be as good as I've been all year and just send it.
Yeah. Real quick, just following up on that before I get to my next question here about the target. Do you feel like you're gonna get bumped around a lot here tonight, considering what's happening here with you?
I don't doubt it one bit. I mean, I know I only ran 2 heat races yesterday, 2 and 5, and Heat 2, I had Campbell all over my bumper just about sending me around. And I know Campbell's definitely one who's not happy with me or any of my drivers, any of my friends here. So it's bound to happen. I'm not expecting to actually finish any of these 3 races. I'm just hoping that I can get one good finish. And like you said, 9th or better and hopefully clinch it.
Well, looking to take Luke Turpin off the throne, but you gotta give credit to Luke, though. He's been a great champion, has picked up a couple of wins, but you've had a great year so far.
Oh, absolutely. Big respect to Luke Turpin. I mean, he was one heck of a competitor last season. I don't know what happened to him this year, but if you ask me, Marty, I'm about to bury his career in the Turn 4 Garden Center.
Oof. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's Bristol, baby. Austin, good luck tonight, man.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Marty.
All right. Austin getting set to go. He starts from pole position tonight. So, Robert, let's break this race down here. 444 laps, just over 220 miles. We're expecting a pit window of around 64 to 70 laps. But with the way Bristol Motor Speedway is, that'll go within a tick. Like, you could have drivers paying within like 15, 20 minutes.
I mean, this one here, it's kind of like a Dover, almost as a self-cleaning racetrack. So, and like I said, with the EOLs, I expect to see some guys that aren't used to starting up front, starting up more towards the front, maybe panicking, getting nervous, and then causing some chaos early. Absolutely.
Doug, I'll ask you this. Robert said earlier pre-race that Bristol is a short track on steroids. Is this a track where we could see multiple grooves? Because we know the high side, 36 degrees of banking, but that low line, you could try and get some bite off it.
I'll tell you, I broadcast a race here Sunday in the Gen 6 Cup cars and the updates that iRacing has made to the tire model and to the tracks and everything. They were running 2 and 3 wide through the turns with no problems. And if a Gen 6 Cup car can do it, man, these cars can definitely do it. It's going to be easy to run multiple grooves. You're going to see guys high, middle, low. You're going to see some guys diamonding. The real big question, as we saw last week, is that damage model. I don't know how many guys are going to want to be up by that wall and risk that car getting just trashed.
Absolutely, we'll have to see what happens. Perfect weather for racing as the checkers are out here on the final warm-ups. Jonathan Bronson is the quickest. He runs a 16 even lap. Second quick, Blake Wynn with a 16:01, and third quick, Rocky Boyd with a 16:02. Set to go racing here. Let's give you the starting lineup for the Cancer Research Institute 444. On the front row, Austin Edwards in the number 18 and with another pole position. Mason Edwards next to him in the 96. He starts with a strike. Row number 2, Daniel Miller in the 262 and Blake Wynn in the 99. Wynn starts the race with a strike. Row 3, Jonathan Bergeron in the 717. He starts with a strike. Ryan Seaves next to him on the outside. Row 4, Sean Andrews of the 04, who starts tonight with a strike. Jose Gaudino starts at 8th. Round up the top 10 tonight, Derek Colston in the 5 and Gerald Poole in the 16. Row 6, Travis Sukup in the 51 and Art Hendren in the 37. Hendren starts with a strike tonight. These drivers will start off the top 15 locked in. Zach Edwards in the 6, John Schwartz in the 01, the latter starting with a strike. 2 drivers on a provisional. You've got Joe Campbell in the 63, who's on a strike, and Jeremy Leto in the 84, last time he won at Bristol. Then you got row number 9, starting from the rear, Alex Krapser, Luke Turpin, Chris Johnson, the 19th, PDJ Zeller, 20th with a strike, Matt Barrett, Tyler McRae, 21st and 22nd, 23rd, Noah Carpenter with a strike, Jeff Edgar, Sean Patrick, 24th and 25th, John Fraley, 26th with a strike, Greg Holes, 27th, Albie Hewins, 28th, James Johnson, 29th, Jonathan Bronson in 30th, and then you got Tanner Kalin and Rocky Boyd in row 16 starting with a strike. Don Jordan starts 33rd, Brent Meckes starts 34th with a strike, John Brancaccio starts 35th with a strike, Brad Ebley starts 36th, and then we've got, starting from the rear of the field tonight in 37th, is John Keneally with a strike. Well, here we are at the last great Coliseum in Bristol Motor Speedway. They held the Bristol night race last Saturday night for the NASCAR Cup Series, and now they've brought XCAL with a sold-out crowd, so I guess you could call this the Bristol Hangover night race. Lights are off of the XCAL Racing Pace Truck, 1 to go. Go ahead.
I know all about hangovers. They're not good.
Well, we'll see what happens here.
We have to ask the obvious question here, Colgan. How many beers tonight?
I'm gonna be pulling out a little earlier, so I'll try to get in as many as I can. I probably won't beat 17 like last week, but probably about 9.
All right, 9 it is. Well, the iRacing Pace Truck is in, and where else would you rather be than right here, right now? It's Bristol, baby, and it's showtime.
Down and away into turn 1, and Austin quickly gets the nose out. They're going to be side by side for a couple laps, Marty.
Absolutely. Mason Foster, Daniel Miller for second position, while Edwards starts to pace the field as they thunder off at turn number 4 at Thunder Valley. The decibels just over 100 as Edwards leads lap number 1. Foster clearing Daniel Miller for second, but you've got Bergeron and Wynn battling for 4th position here, Colgan. And we're seeing it right now. Multi-groove, side-by-side racing. Wynn, though, gets the advantage off of turn 4, and we talked about it. 36 degrees of banking. He's trying to use it early.
Yeah, I mean, Doug, you remember my pick last week?
Yes, I do, and here we go. You could very well end up being right here tonight. It's definitely going to be a wild one, and somebody that can sit up front and be patient like this and be aggressive when it counts and be patient the rest of the time, definitely going to have an advantage tonight.
Rocky Boyd in the pits early. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I didn't tell Blake I picked him because I didn't want to jinx him.
So Rocky Boyd is in the pit serving an iRacing penalty, not an XCAL penalty, but we got a battle for the race lead. Mason Foster taking a peek underneath the 18 of Austin Edwards. Edwards, though, still with the nose out in front. Plays some good defense so far early here, Doug.
Ryan, Mason up here looking early. Expect the J&S cars to be really strong. Last year at this race, man, they were all up there in the fight. A lot of them getting caught up in that late race chaos with about 40 laps to go. But the J&S cars were up front. Now they've got a bigger team. They've got more teamwork going on. I would expect to see them in the fight all night long.
Momentum for Austin Edwards. Clear as I can see that 96 in his rear view mirror. So he's second, Daniel Miller third, Blake Wynn fourth, Jonathan Bergeron is fifth. See if we can get you some side-by-side racing. Let's get you to 23rd spot. Jeff Edgar in the number 88, battling with Noah Carpenter. That's a good side-by-side battle we got on track. You also have Jeremy Leto and Alex Krapser. Let's get to Leto and Krapser as they battle for 14th position here, Doug.
Yeah, not a surprise to see a few side-by-side battles here early, guys trying to pick up some momentum. And Krapser already moving forward, as is Petey. Petey already up 5 spots into 15th. Krapser up into 14th now. Those two teammates obviously working together really well to make their way to the front. And right behind is the winner from the spring race, Jeremy Leto. Of course, you heard what Matt Bear said about that.
In fact, for the top 5 drivers, when it comes to the biggest movers here, Robert, all off of the J&S camp. Zach Edwards is up 5. Oh, Joe Campbell's up 4. PDJ Zeller is up 5 spots. And then you also have Alex Krapser up 3.
Yeah, I mean, I look for Petey to have a pretty good run. This is a track I think that blends well with the way he's been running. He got a little cold here lately, but this is a track I think he'll be pretty good at. And what better way to pick off a win after a dominant Bills performance last night?
Absolutely. Go Bills, baby. Interesting amongst the top 8 here, Doug. There is a huge gap between 8th and 9th spot. That, of course, is between Derek Colson and Zach Edwards. Now make it between Zach and Joe Campbell as the 63 looks to make the pass for 9th position.
Yeah, I'm surprised we're seeing them split this much this early, but you've got between Zach and Joe just over 2 seconds right now. Only 17 laps in, and that really speaks to how fast that top 7-8 cars are going right now, that they have broken away. And, oh, Zach's starting to blink just a little bit.
He's been known for that a lot in the past, so believe it'll get monitored by XCAL Racing President Aaron Hillebush. He's been warned on that a bunch. Let's go back to the race lead, as Foster's been trying anything, but it just hasn't been able to make the pass work here on Austin Edwards. And Colgan, we know Mason Foster really well. This is a guy that knows how to get up to the front of the field and knows how to lead, but it just comes so close to getting that win.
Yeah, I mean, Mason's a pretty good kid. He's gotten a lot better this year than last year. I know me and him crossed paths a little bit last year, but he's got the talent. He got robbed at Oxford. I mean, I think he had a good car, maybe not to win, but he got robbed by a dumb move by Leto. He's been robbed by a couple wins, so tonight might be his night.
Could be, as we are 20 laps in the books. A lot of racing happening here tonight. Of course, we talked about it, Doug, coming on in with a couple of drivers. The big key here, a lot of laps in this race. This is a race that's really all about patience.
It really is. And, you know, speaking of patience and Mason Foster, you got to give the kid credit. Early in his XCAL career, he did not make any friends, especially after the All-Star race in the following week at Michigan. Really did not make a lot of friends, those two. Oh, as he hits the wall out of turn 4, he did not make a lot of friends, but he has spent this entire season earning the entire field's respect. When you talk about patience, though, look at guys back here from Jonathan Bergeron on back. These guys sitting nose to tail and nobody really battling till Zach Edwards comes around. And, of course, the guy with the biggest fan club in the stands here tonight, Ryan Seams, currently sits in 6th.
Let's take a look at 4th position with Blake Wynn and Jonathan Bronson. It's right in front of Seams. You see Bergeron in that black Sheep racing car. Can't make a run to the inside, but look at Zach Edwards, Colgan, going up to the top shelf. Caution is out on the speedway. We got a wreck. And we have it for Derek Colson and the 48 of Chris Johnson. That is in turn number 1. Colgan, let's take an opportunity to look at the first time ever replay brought to you by the Tri-E Inc. Cooler Crew.
Oh, that, yeah, that might have started further up Chris Johnson. Let's take a look at Derek Colson in this one. Coulson just gets loose through the turn, has it saved briefly, then out of turn 4 just gets loose again and nowhere for anybody to go. We talked about the fact that it's a self-cleaning racetrack, but it looked like he was just trying to hold on to it, and that's what happens.
Boy,
Yeah,
let me try. Yeah, go ahead, Colgan.
Well, this is what I was talking about. Coulson, I believe, was one of the drivers that didn't have to start with an EOL. He started up towards a lot further than what he's used to, and he had a lot of guys behind him. You see, I think some pressure got to him because he just broke loose.
Absolutely. I mean, even though they were dealing with the lap car, the 68, he did get. But you know, then again, if you take a look at turn number 3. Was there some slight contact between Campbell and Coulson that started to get the car a little bit sideways? If you rewind that just a little bit more, there may have been something else that happened there. It'll be interesting to see what Busch makes the call here on Colgan.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's just, like I said, I mean, we've run, about 26, 27 green flag laps. The tires are starting to kick in. Some setups are falling off. Some guys are getting fast. I was actually watching Chris Johnson earlier, and he was actually starting to get on a roll. He was running that high line pretty good. And I do see there's a little bit of contact. It does look like Joe bumped him a little bit, but I don't know. He bumped him a little bit. Looks like Coulson could have saved that. He had it straightened out, and then it cracked on him again.
Doug, I'm seeing no surprise here on lap number 28 of this race. Everyone coming down pit road. McRae, Patrick, Holes, and I believe one other driver decided, let's pit a lap later, try and get an extra lap of fresh rubber.
Yeah, and it looks like Mason Foster's going to beat everybody off pit road and take the lead here. Schwartz going to come out second, and Austin Edwards now back to third. But looking back, Ryan Seams drops back to 9th. Zach Edwards holds 10th. But the top 10, really not much of a change, except for the fact that guy in 6th place, now up into 6th, up 12 spots. Luke Turpin starting to make his way toward the front.
Absolutely. Luke Turpin up 12. Jonathan Bronson up 14. And then you got up 11, Jonathan Schwartz in the 01. Although I think he has brought the car down pit road once again to make an additional change to the race car. Austin Edwards and Mason Foster swap spots. If we look at the pit lane time here, 1 minute on pit road for Mason Foster, 1:03 for Austin Edwards. Now, real quick, before I ask you a question here, Robert, we can confirm Derek Coulson did get the black flag. One wave around, that belongs to Rocky Boyd III. So, Robert, I want to ask you this. 1 minute pit road time for Mason Foster, 1:03 for Austin Edwards. Was that a factor of the single pit road we have here at Bristol Motor Speedway and how you enter pit road in turn number 3 and 4 coming to the front straightaway?
Yeah, I mean, it has its differences. I mean, Austin, I think, is a little relaxed here, too. Mason's one of them guys, he's got that tunnel vision. He go, go, go. Austin's one of them ones where it's like, we're good, it's early in the race. So, I don't think there's a big as a benefit as what we think there is.
So we are at 2 laps of the green flag. We'll go back to the green flag next time by. So glad you could join us here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. A big hello to Matthew Butterfield, rooting for Flying Ryan Seams. Richie Joplin watching as well. Hello to him. Hello to Danny, as always, watching in the chat. Hello to Bob Man in the chat as well, and same with Steven. They're all having a lot of fun, of course, on the family of How to Suck at iRacing networks on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube.
Yeah,
Lights are off.
Ryan Flying Ryan has got his fan club is getting bigger every week.
Absolutely. Lights are off. The iRacing pace truck. We're set to go back to the green flag. Let's reset the field here for you. Row at number 1, it's Mason Foster and Austin Edwards. Foster selects the inside line for this restart. Row number 2, Jonathan Bergeron and Blake Wynn. Row 3, Luke Turpin and Daniel Miller. Row 4 is Travis Sukup and Ryan Seams. And rounding out the top 10, Zach Edwards and Sean Andrews. Foster, the control car here for our first restart here at Bristol Motor Speedway. 32 laps go up on the boards when we come back to the green flag. Foster ready to fire, and there he goes. Edwards tried to time it, did not work. Foster should be able to clear Austin Edwards into turn number 1, and he does. Colgan Foster with the lead.
And we'll see. Foster was all over Austin Edwards there, so it's going to be interesting to see if he checks out from him or what here.
Top 2 have broken away, but Doug Edwards is trying to work the top shelf here. Foster tried that earlier. The 96 got on the wall. Do you think? Oh, hang on. That thought caution is out, and we got a big wreck. Art Hendren is in it. PDJ Zeller is in it. 66 in Mekis, and the big one is already broken out on lap 34, Doug.
Yeah, looking as they go off into the turn, and everybody. Oh, we had a car get loose. Ryan, I believe it was Ryan Seams that gets loose. Everybody checks up behind, and a whole lot. Oh my goodness. They just piled up everywhere on the back straightaway. Let's look at this from another angle, and let's take a look and see, was that Ryan Seams that got loose?
It was.
And it looks like he saved it, though, quickly enough and got down to the apron. There should not, guys really didn't need to check up on that one. Just being overly cautious, and that's kind of what happened. Travis Sukup, Jose Godino also in this mess.
Yeah, it was just an overreaction by the drivers behind, trying to be cautious, and then, you know, that's what's tough here. You got some guys trying to be over safe, and then other guys just doing their thing, and it's just like last week when we had those checkups at Lanier.
Yeah.
Also seems like as well, Colgan, you know this better than anyone else because you were in the car. The stack-ups here, that was really common at Bristol last year.
Yeah, it's very frustrating too, because like I would always try to run towards the back and just let the car come to me, let guys wear their stuff out. But when you start getting all these cautions, it's tough and it's frustrating because you got one guy up your back end and you're jamming into another guy's back end because there's one asshole up there that just won't catch up to the field, or he's backing off, or he ain't in a hurry.
Absolutely. We do have a disqualification. The incident does go on the 04 because he failed to check up. So Sean Andrews disqualified early. The waiver rounds go to Don Jordan, Chris Johnson, and Joey Keneally.
That's kind of a heartbreak for the 04, but,
Yeah.
you know, it's a tough call to make, and being race control for this group is always a difficult challenge, especially on tracks like this where everybody comes into Bristol, everybody but me anyways, thinking, this is one of my best tracks, I love racing here, it's a great track, and it, you know, everybody thinks they can win here.
That's the tough part here too. Is a lot of guys are starting with strikes and whatnot, so they're trying to be overcautious, and they end up making a mistake because they're thinking about it so much.
Absolutely. While we are at it, guys, this has been one fun season of XCAL once again in the $5 Tuesday series. If you've liked what we have done all season, make sure you go out there and support your sponsors. Tell them you loved what is happening in XCAL Racing, and tell them to support us once again next season. A lot of great sponsors from, you know, for example, here what we have tonight: Fuel Factor X, KMU Trucking and Excavating, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists, Telesign, the Tri-Yang Cooler Crew, get How to Suck at iRacing. We've got and a whole lot more, including Moonlight Speed Concepts. We wish we could name all of them, but we are getting set to come back to green. We've had a lot of support this year. Thank you to everyone at XCAL Racing that supported us throughout the year. So we've doubled them up. I believe we're going to turn off the lights on the iRacing pace truck here this time, guys.
It's looking that way. Everybody's stacked up side by side. The cars are gotten back on the lead lap that need to. Now I have 31 of 37 cars on the lead lap, and it does look like Derek Colson may be done for tonight as well. He is on pit road, but with extensive repairs, he's definitely out of contention.
Absolutely. We've got 31 drivers on the lead lap. Let's reset the field here for you. Mason Foster, Austin Edwards in row number 1. Foster selects the inside line for this restart. Blake Wynn and Jonathan Bergeron on row number 2. Luke Turpin and Daniel Miller in row number 3. Zach Edwards and Ryan Seams, row number 4. Matt Beer and Alex Krapser, row number 5. Jonathan Bronson, currently the biggest mover of the race, up 19 positions from the drop of the green flag. The iRacing pace truck makes its way onto pit road. Foster ready to fire. You see Austin Edwards dropping back about half a car length and is caught sleeping as Foster fires. We're back to the green flag. See if Edwards can drop down low and keep the second position, which he does. Bergeron's got third. Oh, bad. Wynn and Turpin nearly got together there, Doug, for fourth.
Yeah, that got a little close. Luke just drove it in there. I think he might have heard that smack talk out of Austin, talking about burying his career here tonight, and it looks like Turpin's coming up to tell him that's not going to be the case.
I don't know if you're looking closely here, Colgan, as well. That bottom end, that front right, is dragging so much, Colgan, that it's starting to create some spark situations. I believe it's because the tire pressure is low, no? Or what am I thinking here?
Yeah, I mean, I see guys running some low tire pressure here tonight and then expecting it to build up here. And I've been watching Turpin's car this year, and he's been doing that a lot. So I'd say tire pressure, that's a big thing.
Jonathan Bergeron right now, quickest car on the racetrack, 16:04, and trying to challenge that 18 for the runner-up spot here, Doug, as we've put up 44.
Yeah, and man, this top group has been mostly single file, but man, these guys are fast. And I think we're about to see the guys back behind Ryan Seams, as Ryan currently in ninth. They're starting to actually pull a little bit of a gap on the cars behind again. It's going to get interesting out here tonight with some of these guys just being as fast as they are. I'd like to think some of the guys back behind are just playing it a little bit safe and trying to conserve, but you got guys like Jonathan Bronson, Alex Crapser, and Joe Campbell back here. Ain't none of them conserving. And a huge shout out having Joe back this week.
Absolutely good to have Joe back, currently running in position number 12. Got a battle between the Canadians, Tanner Kalin, Jeremy Lutto battling for 14th. Tanner's been very quiet today, Colgan, in the number 7, up 17 positions. And that Telesign car is moving its way towards the front quietly.
Yeah, Tanner, I expect to see some good things out of him here tonight. I think he was doing pretty good at Lanier and then just caught up in some stuff, and he won the Texas Road Course there a couple weeks ago too. Good little race car driver, and I expect to see a solid top 5, top 10 run from him tonight.
How about the car in front of him as well, Doug? Noah Carpenter, a guy that did really well at the Texas Motor Speedway Road Course. Didn't win the race, though. Had a good car. Currently running in position number 13 at the moment and could be a threat to him. Remember, he almost got on that first caution. Luckily, just saved the car barely, and no damage coming out of that 960.
Noah has been both lucky and good since joining XCAL, and I think, just to echo Robert, I expect a good run out of him. I expect a very good season out of him next year. I think he's going to be one to watch very, very closely.
Absolutely. Let's go to the front of the field. Wynn trying to look downstairs on Bergeron for third position. Robin, I want to ask you as a driver, how do you try and set your passes up here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, considering with the street stock, you're nearly going full throttle and you want to try and arc your car from the high side down to the low groove? This is a lot like classic Bristol before the reconfiguration.
Yeah, it's going to take some time. I mean, if I was Blake, Luke, Zach, they're in a good spot. Watch guys, see what they're doing now, and then see what the car does later, because it's going to pay off for later in the run. Right now, it's too soon for a bump and run. Maybe try to pass on it outside, just see what it does. Just kind of ride right now, get the feeling of your car.
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, yeah, I'm just looking. Daniel Sargent just said, hey, check out the new logo. We've been trying to look at the logo on Mason Foster's car, but Gerald threw out a new logo for the JNS guys we'll try and get a look at. But, this top group is playing a lot of patience, and we saw that we're talking about Austin Edwards. When Mason was trying to get around him, he actually moved up the track, and I think we're going to see a lot of guys find a way around on the high side once some more grip is laid down.
Blake Wynn and Jonathan Bergeron touched off for turn 2. Wynn got around to the inside, but then went up the racetrack.
Yeah, Wynn was showing a lot of patience here. Bergeron, I've noticed, I've been watching, he's been pushing up off the corner. And just like I said, you got to sit behind a guy, watch his line. Blake was doing a good job. He's watching Bergeron's weaknesses, tried taking advantage of it, but Bergeron closed the door on him.
I think as well, Luke and Zach were trying to see where Blake was going, but then they saw the racing get a little bit intense, and I think Doug Turpin and Zach Edwards decided to back out of it.
Yeah, Turpin and Zach, both guys that have been here a while, they know how these races go, and they know this is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. 444. Oh, Zach looks to the inside here. They've got a long, and here goes Luke. Luke's loose.
Oh, Luke got the bumper, sent it in a little bit too deep. Colgan, you saw the rear end come out from underneath them, but luckily a great save from Superman.
Superman's doing a lot of different driving than what I've seen. I haven't seen Luke be this aggressive early in the race, so I'm surprised. I'm looking forward to seeing what I'm going to see out of him tonight, because Luke's usually one of them guys who just blends in, rides around, and then he's in the front. With him being aggressive, that could be a dangerous combination.
Turpin's trying to get to that inside past Blake Wynn. You know Blake's a little bit aggressive. They nearly touch in the center of 3 and 4. Win the bumper to Jonathan Bergeron. Got to keep in mind they got some traffic ahead of them. The 062 of Johnny B. And Blake Wynn looking to go top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Third position is his for Blake Wynn for right now. He may be using a good pick off for Johnny B. Bergeron, meanwhile, loose off for 4. Turpin takes the spot.
Yeah, and you know Turpin was banging on the back door on Blake there for a few laps. I don't think this is over.
And you see Turpin inside now for third. I think Wynn decided to let him go. Oh, there's contact. Neck code between Zach and Blake. This is intense, Robert.
Yeah, I think Blake just went up there to try to give Luke the spot and tuck back in, and Zach seen that and he went for it. And good move on his part.
This is the crazy part about Bristol Motor Speedway, Doug, the lap traffic. You see it in any race that takes place at Bristol, baby. But man, oh man, we almost saw a big wreck breakout.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, and when it happens in front, there is no clear space on the track anywhere right now. So when it happens right in front of these guys, man, the guys right behind, like Ryan Seams, like Daniel Miller, they've got to get evasive. And if they're lucky, they'll pick up a spot and hopefully stay out of trouble.
Meanwhile, the top two have pulled away by 2 seconds. On third place, Luke Turpin. Mason Foster still out in the front of the field. Austin Edwards still in second. Keep in mind, a 9th or better finish for Austin Edwards. He is your 2022 XCAL champion. Let's watch Daniel Miller in the 262. He's got to run the 717. Bergeron starting to fade here early, Rob.
Yeah, like I said earlier, his car was pushing up off the corner. It's getting tight. Oh, and he just...
Nice
Miller
save.
did a hell of a job.
Wow, what a save from Daniel Miller. That nearly got disastrous on 36 degrees of banking. Doug, we nearly saw a Cars moment where Chick Hicks brought the big one out.
Yeah, that got a bit dicey. A lot of guys get by. Good evening, David. Hey, a lot of guys got by him on that one. Moved a bunch of guys up a spot, but a great save by Daniel Miller. He's just going to have to keep holding on to it till he can get a pit stop. He drops all the way back to 15th.
Absolutely.
Bergeron showing signs of getting tight here.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great point, Robert. We've seen him start to fade a lot in this long run here, where it seems like he's trying to test the high side out because he's got nothing with the tires on the low line.
Yeah, and Blake, he's trying that outside up. I don't see him getting tight. I think he's just experimenting here. But it's Crafter, Bear, Seams, they're coming through the pack here.
Remember, Blake got that third spot for a couple of seconds on the high side when they were lapping Johnny B. So that's something as well. Yeah, go ahead.
Does Austin Edwards, now that he's led laps with bonus points, does that not up his position from 9th now, though, too?
That could. That's actually a great point, man. That's a great point. I'll have to check with that. I'll get back to you guys on that. We'll actually get it to you when we come back from this commercial break. Mason Foster leads Austin Edwards, Zach Edwards, Luke Turpin, and Alex Crafter. Leaders are in lap traffic. We'll step aside. Be right back from Bristol. Caution is out here for the third time tonight. We've got Travis Sukup and Jeremy Leto, the last winner here at Bristol, that have crashed. We'll take a look at the Tri-E Inc. Cooler Crew replay to show you what happened, and this started with the 51.
And Jose Godino just barely clips the 51. He bounces off the wall, comes down and collects Leto. Sukup had to tow to pit road. His chances just came to a crashing halt, as that was a pretty hard lick into that outside wall.
We saw as well Tanner Kalin get involved, and yeah, Godino just got on the bumper. I don't even think that he expected the 51 to come up at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if Godino had a faster run than what Sukup expected, or if Sukup thought he would clear Godino in time. It was just a misjudgment. And I know some guys, they have their mirrors set differently too in their cars. Maybe Sukup thought, he was more clear than what he thought he was.
That was Robbie Keneally, not Tanner Kalin, excuse me, and those were some very hard hits from the 51. Hope he's okay after that. Pit road is open. Yeah, go ahead.
A big thing about pit road here is you're watching a lot of these guys. Where you're gonna make up time pitting on the front stretch is when you're coming around, and you're gonna hug that wall down there on the inside. Where some guys they hang up there, and it costs you about a second.
Pit road is open, and the leaders are in.
One leader has not pitted yet. Looks like he's coming down this time, though. Blake Wynn decided to go on the second lap.
Sometimes that pays off.
Yes. Big sometimes.
Edwards and Foster are dead nuts on 4-tire change right now, so it's going to be interesting to see who beats who out here.
Remember, it was Foster that beat Edwards out last time. We'll see if roles are reversed once again.
Edwards, Foster, and then Edwards, Zach Edwards.
And that's the big advantage as well, Doug, of pit stall number 1.
Yeah, you don't have to watch your speed. You don't have to watch anything. As soon as that jack drops, full throttle out of your pit stall, and if anybody's even close, they're still coming up to speed. All you got to do is edge that nose over the line.
Absolutely. Black flag goes to Travis Sukup here for the incident, as it was deemed by Aaron Hellebusch that he came up while Jose Godino was at the quarter panel. Your wave arounds, get them for you here momentarily. While we're at it, Austin Edwards does win the race off pit road. 2 seconds better in pit road than Mason Foster. Mason Foster came out third, and this is something interesting. A 41-second stop. That's actually a glitch on our end, so apologies there. Crapser came out fourth, Luke Turpin fifth, Joe Campbell sixth, Noah Carpenter seventh, Matt Bear eighth, Ryan Seams ninth, and PDJ Zeller 10th. I don't think we have any waiver rounds for you, so we are extending the caution period by 1 lap and get set to go for our next restart here, guys.
Is Thanos not? I guess he isn't, but that's one driver who last year at this race, he's one of my picks for tonight that could have a very, very good race. He is a lap down at the moment. However, last year at this race, he ended up a lap down early on, got his lap back, and was running in the top 5 until a massive wreck happened right in front of him between lap cars and lead lap cars that took him out of this. He's currently back in 24th, but he's one I'm watching closely tonight.
I think a guy you need to watch closely tonight that's come and goer here is Daniel Miller. He's shown some strength at these short tracks and stuff. Not a lot talking about him, but anytime he shows up, he's a competitor.
The light should go off this time off the iRacing pace truck, and we'll come back to green.
Joe Campbell's up in the 6th spot.
Yep. Nice run so far from Joe. Believe if he were to finish inside the top 5, I want to say that would be his first since his win at Charlotte to begin the season.
I think he had a couple of top 5s after that win because he had such a strong start to this season. He had that win at Charlotte and then just went out there and took him to school for a few weeks.
You're right. You got that right, by the way. My mistake. So we come back to the green flag. Austin Edwards and Mason Foster, row number 1. Edwards selecting the bottom. Row number 2, Zach Edwards and Alex Krapser. Row 3, Luke Turpin and Joe Campbell. Row 4, Noah Carpenter and Matt Bear. And rounding out the top 10, Ryan Seams and Petey J. Zeller. We're 10 laps away from the century mark as we get set to come back to green. Edwards, the control car in the restart zone. Foster tried to time it perfectly, but had to get off the gas for just a moment. Edwards beats him to the line, back to the green flag.
Foster had a much better timing, though, than what Austin did on those previous restarts, and Foster's got a run out of 2. He might take it here.
This could be the first time that we see a driver from second lead at the line, and it is Foster. Can he clear? Yes, he can. Austin lets him have it. Austin and Zach second and third, while Krapser and Turpin battle for fourth, Colgan.
Yeah, I'm thinking Austin, not to take anything away from Mason, I think Austin maybe gave that to him. He wants to ride behind Mason a little bit, watch him, and see what Mason shows him here for later on in the race.
He's been watching that spoiler for the last 50 to 60 laps or so.
Yeah, and as a driver, I mean, I was always taught, I come from the dirt tracks where when we're in late models, you don't see anything but someone's rear bumper. You don't see anything else at all. And you learn to judge what their car is doing by just how their spoiler moves and everything. I think that's a lot of what Austin's doing. Zach Edwards is going to the inside here.
Absolutely. Let's see if Zach can get a run of the X to turn 2. I don't think he'll be able to, but that kind of helps Austin out a little bit as he got up to the spoiler of Mason, trying to get that race lead. Nothing in fruition though yet. Austin with some good defense right now, holding on to second spot. Top 5, currently single file at the moment. How about Noah Carpenter, Doug, in 6th position, trying to keep up with the draft of Luke Turpin.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Noah up here early, man. He has just been in this since he joined the group, and looking at his iRating, I mean, he's not exactly a slouch on iRacing. He has done an amazing job since getting into XCAL, and it's really starting to show that he is going to be a contender next year.
Absolutely. Carpenter's iRating at 36.66. Get some side-by-side battles here for position. Actually, a good one. Tanner Kalin and Petey J. Zeller, the good friends, battling for 10th spot. Kalin up 21, second amongst the biggest movers in the race. Jonathan Bronson is up 22. And Kalin starts to open up a gap here on Zeller at the moment for 10th spot. Now, remember, Rob, Petey was in that big one we had on around lap 37 or so, but his car is still working really well to the track with street stocks. It's kind of aero-dependent.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the contact, we've had enough pit stops. I think he's probably got it straightened out. Doesn't look like his car is hurting too bad. Plus, you got to remember how many other cars have been banged up. I mean, I think Tanner was involved in an incident. Ryan Seams, Daniel Miller, those cars around him. So, I guess it's all luck of the draw too, of where they hit you.
Speaking of Miller, nobody wants to work with him on the bottom. Albie Heroin's starting to get a run, Doug.
Great to see Albie up here in the fight, trying to make something happen. Albie has really had a great start to the season, but mid-season it kind of fell apart. Now he is at Bristol, starting to make a fight back, up 14 spots into 14th. Having a good night so far.
Absolutely. One of the better nights, for one of the better starts Albie has had at tracks that are not a super speedway. Still trying to fight it out, and Hewins is still hanging on there. Miller can't get the run yet, can't get that bite off at turn number 4, Robert.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to start seeing cars move around on the racetrack here. I mean, I see a lot of cars starting to move up high now. That inside line, the momentum's starting to go away from it.
That's the second biggest moment for Miller tonight. Second time he's gotten loose and has made a tremendous save. Now watch Blake Wynn, who pitted a lap later than the leaders did. Looking for that 14th spot here, Doug, but Blake's got to be careful because he's got a loose car in front of him and nearly doors the 262.
Yeah, Blake, I'm not sure that's true. Wow, and Daniel came up a lot in that turn, almost gets into Blake, but man, they, that strategy of pitting on that second lap. Oh, Daniel loose again. There might have been some net code at play there.
There was.
Man, Blake pitting on that second lap, it's either going to be really, really good or really, really bad. and it appears that it really hurt him. Another guy who had a rough pit stop, Ryan Seams, now back in 12th. His pit stop was 4 seconds longer than the average of everybody else, so I have to wonder if he took extra fuel there or did something extra we just didn't see.
May have overshot his pit box, not too sure. Trying to battle Zeller for the 11th spot, but also has his teammate in Hewins that's trying to work with him. In fact, these are 3 J&S cars that are leading this train before you have Tanner Kalin in front. Foster continuing leading, but they're working in some lap traffic. That's Hendon the 37. 3 cars battling for the race lead. Seems, meanwhile, a run on Zeller for 11th spot here, Robert.
Yeah, I was sitting here watching. I think Seems a longer pit stop for him too. I mean, he was caught up in an incident. Could have been fixing some damage. I think you're going to see a lot of these guys are going to have slower pit stops. Some taking a break, figuring their car out, maybe making some adjustments for the transition from day to night here too.
Doug, did you see Miller and Wynn door each other once again? They're having a raucous battle tonight.
Yeah, they really are. And one thing Robert just mentioned is, man, we're seeing a lot more cars loose on this later run here. I think with the track temperature changing, yeah, it's getting really dicey back there as Daniel Miller continues to fade a little bit. But these guys, the track is cooling off. These guys are getting a lot looser. We're going to see faster laps, but guys are going to be fighting to try and survive until they hit the next pit stop.
I'm watching on board with Daniel Miller in the car, and he has gained a huge handful off corner exit. You saw the car just yaw big time out of turn number 4. Looking in front, meanwhile, in the battle happening for 10th, Ryan Seams and Joe Campbell. Oh, we got one in the wall. That is Epley in the 56 that I believe has lost a tire. And he has, trying to get that car into pit road, and takes the attenuator. That'll be a tow to pit road. No caution will fly for that.
He's gotten a little bit loose here. He's lost a spot to win past money outside, and Bergeron's following him.
Zeller currently back in the 15th position. And now could get around to the outside from a lap car in Rocky Boyd. Go ahead there, Doug.
We were just looking at the replay for Epley, and man, that was a rough hit, but at least he kind of grazed it, so they might be able to get that car fixed and get him back out for points at least tonight. I think a lot of guys this late in the season, some close points battles mid-pack. I think we're going to see if they get into an incident, they're going to try and fight, get back out on track just to save some points and be in the money at the end of the season.
Ryan Seams and Albie Herons have been making their way through the field the most on this run. Seams now up on Tanner Kalin for 9th, and Hewins just got past Joe Campbell for the 11th position. They are closing their way in here, Robert. Do you think they may have made any potential adjustments to improve their car there?
Yeah, and also Hewins, I raced with him a lot earlier this season. He was always a good, solid driver, very consistent. He didn't fall off a lot. I see him maybe saving a little bit of that car, and now he's starting to fire off here.
Hewins now up with Ryan Seams. I think their plan is to work together and try and find a way to get past that telesign number 7 in Tanner Kalin. They are working on some lap traffic too. Hendren the 37, Jordan in the 61. Let's move up to the front of the field where Noah Carpenter is attacking Luke Turpin for the top 5 here, Doug.
Yeah, Noah is both patient when he needs to be and aggressive. Daniel Miller has had an incident. He is towed to pit road, no caution. Let's take a quick look at what had just happened to Daniel. As we've seen him struggle, he just gets the wall off turn 4 on the front straightaway. And he clipped the inside wall just trying to get that car down.
I saw the right front as well, flat on that 262, a lot similar to what happened to Epley.
Looking for the replay of when this incident started with Miller, because that was definitely not a situation he wanted to be in. Let's see.
It probably had to be about maybe 4 laps ago.
Yeah, he was just in the wall in the middle of 3 and 4, or in the middle of 1 and 2 rather. I think he just finally, that car snapped too loose for him to be able to hold on to.
Absolutely. Let's go back to our 5th place battle between Turpin and Carpenter. They got drivers in front that I believe, they're not battling for a position. That's Friley in the 94, who was actually at Bristol on Saturday night. And also Jose Gaudino in the 20. Man, that's some good racing. Turpin slammed the door on Carpenter there, Robert.
Yeah, Carpenter, he's one of them guys, he'll wear you out. That's what I like about the kid, but he's also very patient. He has good driver etiquette. I think he's going to wear Superman out here.
Let's get back to the front of the field meanwhile. Doug, the top three, currently nose to tail, and the Edwards are being patient at the moment.
Yeah, they've got a 1 1/4 second lead over fourth place Alex Crapser. They have no reason to push this right now. They're inching away every lap, just a couple hundredths. But, over the course of 80 laps, a couple hundredths of a second a lap is going to make a huge difference. That's what these top three are doing right now. Mason Foster's doing what he needs to do, leading as many laps as possible. And the Edwards, as Zach disappears again, the Edwards just riding along behind him, letting him sitting in the draft save a little bit of fuel.
We want to put an end to the Daniel Miller story. He is out of the race. He is disconnected out of the race car. So tough break for him. Let's go to ninth as Seams and Hewins both attacking Tanner for ninth.
Yeah, no surprise here. These guys were coming quickly. Seams gets a push up the hill, Robert.
Yeah, I think Tanner, he's just going to ride that outside, try to wear them guys' tires out. You're going to have slower momentum on the inside there, so Tanner's just being smart, just going to ride his line on the outside, do his thing, and see if they burn their stuff up.
Tanner trying to get the banking again. 36 degrees here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Edges out Seams the start-finish line. Carpenter, by the way, did get past Luke Turpin. He is up into the 5th position. Carpenter sneakily making his way. We talked about it a couple moments ago, Doug. Sneakily making his way towards the leaders.
Yeah, I think Noah Carpenter might be the next Jonathan Schwartz, because it's the same thing we see on Schwartz all the time. You just don't talk about him, and suddenly he's up there at the front. He's in the fight. Man, that kid is flying around here.
Whoa. Trouble. John Brancaccio loose out of the line. Lost it, but made a great save. Sorry, Doug, go ahead. I thought he was wrecking.
Right in front of Ryan Seams and Albie Hewins as well. Now he's way up the track. Yeah, I think Noah Carpenter is going to be just sneaking his way forward ever so slightly. Looking at the lap times, the last time by, he was faster than everybody in front of him.
Absolutely. 16:69 last lap. Everyone else in the 16:7s. This time for Noah, 16:68. Just about an identical lap as Zach Edwards, but closing in quickly. Gap between him and the leader is 2.5 seconds. The next car in front, which is 4th place Alex Crapser, that is 0.8 seconds. I think something we got to mention here too, Robert. Fuel window 64 to 70 laps. Drivers pitted on around lap 84, which passed the halfway mark until we're expecting drivers to come in.
Yeah, I mean, some of these drivers, though, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see them exceed the fuel window here. I mean, especially the Edwards boys, they're riding behind Mason. Mason's been burning up most of his fuel. Both of those Edwards boys are smart, and I think they'll be saving a little bit more.
Tanner Kalin just brought the 7 in, so he'll back out of the top 10 at the moment. And in that situation as well, I think his last pit stop, Doug, he may have taken some less fuel to bank on another caution where he could try and pit the same time as everyone else.
Well, I think, every race, especially at Bristol, you hear cautions breed cautions, and that's what some of these drivers really count on here. But, it's not throwing, we're not throwing the iRacing cautions. There is Aaron up in the booth, and he's making the determination, and we've seen a few close calls that iRacing might have thrown the caution, but these drivers, they don't get the caution every time they need it. It does set XCAL apart that, we're not going to throw a caution for every little thing. There's not going to be any fake debris cautions out there either.
These leaders are having some problems. Jeff Egger, he's the last car in the lead lap, and knowing Jeff, I mean, he's a good, clean guy, but he ain't going to give that away very easy. He's just been running that outside line, and Mason's had his hands full the last couple of laps.
And he is allowed to race the leaders per the XCAL rules, as he is not a lap down yet.
Man, he's doing an excellent job holding these guys off, too.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. I mean, with fuel mileage and stuff, though, you don't want to get stuck up on that outside when you're starting to get close to that pit window, because you get too close to it, you end up having to give up a lot more than what you can gain.
Give credit here to Jeff as well. Even with that damaged spoiler, still keeping up with the leaders. And Robert, is this kind of helping out Mason Foster as well, because he's able to get a slipstream off of Jeff and can try to save some fuel?
No, in all honesty, I mean, Mason's getting frustrated. He's got Edwards and Edwards down his throat. He's trying to get out front. And Jeff actually has helped lead them up to Greg and Bergeron for 13th and 14th here. So Jeff's actually been making up some time also with those leaders. So they're going to be in more deeper traffic now.
What are you thinking here if you're Jeff, meanwhile, Doug?
I'm thinking, you know what? I know these guys are faster. They're going to get around me. I'm going to put myself in a position that I'm going to stay in the range of getting a wave around if a caution comes out. I'm going to slide in here right behind the Edwards boys as close as possible, and I'm just going to ride, and they're going to use the hole. And did I just see Jeff Hager go to pit road?
He did, and Bergeron got loose off of turn 4. I think he was trying to get to pit road as soon as possible, and that was the case. I can't believe it here, guys. We talked about the beginning of the race. Jonathan Bergeron right inside the top 5. He was about to go a lap down in that long run.
Definitely. Oh, we've got a car loose at Schwartz getting loose on the way down to pit road right in front of the leaders.
Jeff Eggers drove down the wrong pit road, too.
Oh, no.
That's
wow.
That's a big oops there.
Tough break there for Sweet Cheeks. Keep in mind, of course, at Bristol, 2 pit straightaways. However, though, we do not use the dual pit road rule in iRacing. We're on a green flag. You can come in off of turn number 4. While under yellow, you have to come in off of turn number 2. Everyone has to come in off of turn 2 here. Doug, talk a little bit more about that.
Well, they're using under green flag conditions, you go straight down your pit road. If you're front straightaway, you dive in on the front. If you're back, you dive in on the back. But under caution, everybody has to take the full trip around pit road. And that, man, if you hit the wrong pit stall or the wrong pit road, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose several laps under green when you hit pit road. But it's gonna be worse here as Foster gets a little bit loose out of 4.
Absolutely. Leaders should be coming into...
Roll.
Absolutely. Look at Petey on the fresh tires, too. Leaders are going to be coming into pit road any moment. We'll talk about it on the other side of this break. Stay with us here at Bristol Motor Speedway.
To chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
A big wreck breaking out at a turn number 4 in Bristol that involved PDJ Zeller, Matt Bear, Art Hendren, and others. Let's look at the Tri-E replay here, Doug. What happened?
And they go off Matt Bear on the bottom, and oh, we've got a car just moves up, and they all go around. The 37 gets turned right in front of Matt Bear, and the 37's actually able to drive down pit road. Petey caught in this as well, but I don't think Petey got much of it. But 2 of the J&S cars caught up in this one. And several cars, Leto even gets a tap back behind. Oh, Petey almost cleared it, but Matt Bear's spin down to the bottom leaves Petey. And then Bear trying to get back out on track clips Petey again. Both drivers taking some heavy damage.
Now, I think the question I have here is, did anyone stay out before the caution flag? Because we were talking, because Zach Edwards was the race leader. Austin and Mason came on into pit road. Zach may have stayed out. He may be the race leader. I think Noah Carpenter had stayed out too. I saw him in front when we came back. Wow, this is going to be interesting.
There's good. As of right now, it looks like 3 cars on the lead lap.
So that is not what Austin or Mason wanted. They're likely going to get a couple of cautions here where they'll be able to get back on the lead lap and in the race, luckily. But, man, this race just changed big time here, Robert, because this is a track where you do not want to be pitting early if the caution flag flies.
I don't know what that would be a product of. I mean, Art, he's 14 laps down. He was running up in the groove. Bronson, I mean, he was on the right run. Probably had fresher tires and just got impatient. And it looked like Art broke a little loose there. And it's sad to see. I mean, we had a good green flag run, getting pit stops, and then it got interrupted by that. And I was a little worried we'd have something like that.
We've got a double EOL for a racing incident that goes against both Jonathan Bronson and Art Hendren. This is not a strike to anyone, just an end of the longest line rule. Your waiver rounds will be Ryan Seams, Alex Krapser, and Austin Edwards. Doug, that's not what Mason wanted to see there.
No, definitely not. And things are going to get a bit interesting because now it's just going to be the, 6, 7 cars on the lead lap here?
I think so.
This definitely benefits one guy, Austin Edwards, the most. He has to finish now in the top 10 to lock his championship here tonight. And when he's only one of 6 cars on the lead lap, things are going to get a bit interesting. And Mason Foster, who has dominated this race so far, now trapped a lap down.
We got a couple of drivers going their way around the iRacing pace trucks, so we'll have a couple of extensions here, but right now I think I'm sensing only maybe 2 drivers that will restart at the front, and that's Noah Carpenter and Luke Turpin. And this is a huge moment at the moment for Noah here, Robert. We've talked about it a lot. He's been sneakily making his way up to the front, and he is now your race leader.
Yeah, he's just been doing a hell of a job. I mean, he's been doing his thing, not causing any problems, not making rivalries. He just takes his time. He's got a fast car. He knows he does. So why fight anybody? Why do anyone wrong? I mean, just do your thing.
Absolutely. Hello to a couple of other guys out here in the chat. Hello to Edmund. Hello to Bill, Rosemary, and David out there watching. Hello to Jason rooting for Ryan. A lot of fans out there tonight watching on XCAL Racing. Don't forget our next XCAL races, our final 2 races of the season. We end the year at Charlotte. I consider it our speed weeks of the season because September 27th, we make the trip to the Charlotte Legends Oval, and then the season ends October 4th on the Charlotte Intermediate Oval. All-star time, 7:30 on the family of How to Suck at iRacing Network. So let's reset the field. Noah Carpenter leads. He'll restart with a 15-second advantage on Luke Turpin. Then you've got Zach Edwards in 3rd, Alex Krapser 4th, and Austin Edwards rounding out the top 5. A very interesting restart here as we come back to green. Carpenter controls the field. A lot of drivers won't be able to race him, but a lot of drivers will be able to race for position as we're back to green.
An interesting note here. It looks like Zach, Alex, and Austin, all three of who did get a whoa. They're 3 wide right behind.
Four wide.
Wow, and somehow they made it out without a major wreck. They're 4 wide once again. John Schwartz up there as well. Same with Mekis, Sukup, and is that Leto in the 84? It is.
I just don't understand 27 laps down and you're gonna do that.
Very risky decisions there for sure, Robert. I completely agree with you.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's not risky. It's just pure stupidity. I mean, you're going to ruin a lot of guys' nights. But, hey, I mean, that's Leto being Leto.
Well, Leto might have come in tonight a little cocky after winning here in the spring.
Let's go to
3 cars out there tonight, so.
I wasn't going to make the comment.
I will.
I figured you would.
Tanner Kalin making his way up through the field and trying to close in on Jonathan Bergeron in a battle for 13th, and Leto's all over the bumper of the 51 of Sukup. Not what Kalin wants to be dealing with right now, guys.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, there is not much more you can say than the way we've seen a lot of patience, a lot of give and take early on. I think they threw that out the window when most of the field gets trapped multiple laps down. Even though the Zach, Alex, and Austin got a wave around, they're all still 1 or more laps down because there were so many laps down being trapped by that caution.
I mean, kudos to Sukup getting back out there after the hit he took. I mean, he's out there making laps, and I mean, he's 70 laps down or so. Still out there getting laps. He could pick up a couple spots.
Let's go to a battle for 8th. Joe Campbell against Albie Hewen, separated by a car length on each other. And how about the run for both of them? You don't normally see them in the top 5. Sometimes they'll be inside the top 10. But this is one of the best runs I have seen from these two out of the JNS squad in a long, long time, Doug.
No, definitely so. And just getting word that Noah Carpenter has orders to get the win, get this done quickly. He's got to go load the dishwasher.
Oof. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Somebody forgot to do a chore.
He is in heavy lap traffic as this field is really split up now. Ryan Seams is running him down, though. A couple of guys that are 1 or more laps down, they are pushing extra hard here and gaining a little bit of time on the leader. I think Noah Carpenter might be coasting it now with only him and Turpin on the lead lap, and he's got a 3.8 second lead. I think Carpenter's just playing it really, really safe now.
Jimmy Johnson just lost a couple of spots to Jonathan Bergeron and Tanner Kalin. That's for 12th and 13th, respectively. But now we go to 9th as John Schwartz now starts to make his way towards Blake Wynn all over his teammate John Schwartz for 10th, and I think JB Smooth lets him go, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with both of them, and it's funny, though, they're teammates, but and they'll run each other clean, but neither one of them want to give up a spot. And to hear JB talk, I mean, like I said last week, he's like the nicest kid in the world. You wouldn't even think he's an aggressive race car driver. But he's going to find himself up to the front as long as he doesn't get caught up in anything.
Schwartz currently up 3 positions at the moment. Oh, man, close call for Blake when he almost ran into the back of the 60. Cautions out. Don Jordan has crashed. And that is in turn number 2, and I think Jeremy Leto's also involved here, guys.
Leto on the high side as they go off out of turn 4. There's a car right in front of Leto, bumps the wall, and Leto just dives it into turn 1 a little too hard, and Jordan was the one that bounced off the wall. Leto just sends it into turn 1.
Well, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. I mean, I'm not nitpicking, but this is just stupidity at its finest. I mean, you're 27 laps down, and you're just sending it in on guys, and look at how many innocent guys are going to be involved.
Yeah, look at that.
Just someone being cocky because they want to race with 3 people in it. So,
Greg Holes and Jeff Edgar.
Yep.
Also in it.
2 innocent bystanders.
Look at Derek Colson as well, missed that wreck. That's an incredible job to dodge a couple of bullets.
Worth noting that now Zach Edwards, Alex Krapser, and Austin Edwards should each get a wave around. And I do believe that'll put Zach back on the lead lap. It'll put Alex back on the lead lap. And it'll put Austin 1 lap down. That also puts Ryan Seams in position for the next wave of rounds.
Absolutely. I don't think we'll see any of them come on in. Let's take a look at our aerial shot here. And our aerial shot is brought to you by the good friends at Telesign. Get them here. Telesign, offering a wide variety of products such as digital printing, decals, vehicle lettering, apparel, billboards, and more. Over 25 years in business and supporting local short track racing across Canada. Now offering custom iRacing paint schemes starting at $5 to $10. Contact us at telesign.graphics@gmail.com for more info and inquiries.
You know, I tell Noah if he doesn't win tonight, he's got to do all those dishes by hand.
Mark, drop in the comments and tell us if Noah does not win, does he have to do the dishes by hand? We would fully support that.
Yes.
We want a video though.
Yes, I can guarantee you, if a video comes out and Mark would be willing to send it to me, it'll go on How to Suck at iRacing's Facebook page, and there'll be a link on Twitter and Instagram for it.
And we should air it next week too.
We would definitely air it next week.
There's an EOL.
Wow, yeah, racing instant being rolled. Apparently one turned up and one turned too much against Leto and Jordan. Go ahead there, Doug. I'm sorry, Colgan.
Just slightly before that, I mean, Dawn did hit the wall. I mean, you can't put all the blame on Leto with that. It's just when you're at that point in the race here, and I don't even know how many. Dawn's 10 laps down, Leto's 27 laps down. There's a 17 lap difference. There's time to give some give here, and like I said, it's just sad. This is what I'd been talking about all years. Like, it's not XCAL. It's some of these drivers need to learn proper driver etiquette and when to go and when not to go.
Hey, just got an update on the Noah Carpenter situation. Mark has confirmed that if Noah doesn't win, he will have to do the dishes by hand, and we will get a video.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
You got Superman right there beside you, so.
Yeah, that caution definitely did help Luke Turpin too, Robert. Go ahead.
No, I mean, he's got Luke Turpin just there beside him. I mean, he's got some pressure. Now he's got to do the dishes by hand, and he has to beat Superman.
So, our waves we can confirm too. Zach Edwards, Alex Crapser, Austin Edwards. And Zach and Alex will be back on the lead lap, but they'll have to restart tail because of lead lap rules in iRacing. So
also worth noting, Luke Turpin did come to pit road under that caution.
Absolutely. And Noah, yeah, and so that's a good move from Luke Turpin. He knew he was going to restart on the front row, and how much of an advantage he did have on Noah Carpenter. And so watch this restart very closely here, fellas.
One thing I want to point out to all drivers that go back and watch this broadcast, if you look at the 717, he dropped back just a bit off a nose bumper. And if you look at the stack up on the inside, that's what everyone's been talking about all season. It takes one guy to back off way too much, and it causes a big stack up, and it could ruin someone's night. So.
It could. All right, so one lap until we get the green flag. Let's reset the field here. 4 guys on the lead lap. Noah Carpenter and Luke Turpin sharing row number 1. Zach Edwards restarts 3rd, Alex Crapser 4th. Austin Edwards 5th, Ryan Seams 6th, Mason Foster 7th, Joe Campbell 8th, Albert Hewins is 9th, and Jonathan Bergeron rounding out the top 10. So Carpenter selected the inside line. He'll get to fire in that little restart zone you see in turn number 4. And there you see it there, Colgan. You were just talking about it. That stack up, Bergeron trying to get him to go. We'll watch this restart closely. See what happens with the 717 as there goes the 960 back to green. No stack up this time, luckily.
Hey, and what do you say we have a little bit of fun? We can shut up for a minute and crank it up.
Let's do it. Come back. Leader with a flat tire. Noah Carpenter has broken the suspension. There was contact between the leaders and some hard racing there, Colgan.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over the place here. I'm still watching here back in around Alice Craftsburg. They're starting to clear up a little bit now. I don't know what happened there.
And Carpenter is
But looking at the replay, Turpin just, those fresh tires gets a run in. He gets a push mid-turn, comes up into Carpenter, pushes Carpenter up into the wall, and
they're wrecking in one, baby, Bronson. They had to stack up from what happened. I don't know what the hell Carpenter was thinking there. That's going to mean double day of washing the dishes by hand. Wow.
You know, I don't know if I can blame the initial contact on Carpenter. I don't know if it's netcode or if there's some error, but Turpin's car just takes a right. Carpenter was doing the right thing, staying down there on his rear. Gave plenty of room, and I don't know if there's some netcode or what, but that's the what initially happened.
Absolutely. So, well,
looking
while
at
we're
the
at it,
replay here, Noah was almost stopped on the front straightaway and toes to pit road, but man, what a rough end to one of the fastest cars out here.
absolutely, that's definitely a shame for sure from Noah Carpenter.
Hit to finish him off. His Sukup got loose there too. Actually, if you guys didn't see when he's in the wall,
Yeah.
Sukup got loose and came up and cracked him.
You're
So
right.
I don't know if that's what hurt Noah that he had to stop on the front stretch, because he just lost all momentum after Sukup hit him.
Absolutely. Well, we have 195 laps complete here. Why don't we take this opportunity to look at our full field rundown, brought to you by Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists of the Upstate. No matter where you live, we have a location to repair or paint your alloy rims, from minor cosmetic damage to complete restoration. Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists offers professional and affordable alloy rim repair. We can straighten and refinish wheels with the custom color of your choice. If your rims are beyond repair, we have access to the best quality OEM replacements. For more, check out awrswheelrepair.com. So Luke Turpin is currently your race leader. He is up 17 spots from the drop of the green flag and having a good run right now at Bristol Motor Speedway, looking for his first win in a while. 6 seconds back is Zach Edwards right in second spot, but you have to be very careful because Edwards has been warned a lot for blinking, and he was given a final warning from Aaron Hillebush. He's in a battle with Alex Krapser. Krapser currently running in third position, but a very quiet night for Alex Krapser, but has been running inside the top 5. Has been a great night so far for the driver of the 29. Austin Edwards, who needs to finish in the top 10, and he clinches the 2022 XCAL Racing Championship. He is currently fourth, first driver, 1 lap down at the moment. Mason Foster, who has led the most laps so far tonight, currently running in 5th. Great night still for Mason. Has a lot of work to do, though, if he wants to get back up to the leaders. Ryan's team's currently running in the 6th position, but a good night so far for Flying Ryan. And then Joe Campbell, great night for him at Bristol, better than we thought, in P7 at the moment. His teammate and driver Albie Hewins in the 8th spot, up 20 spots, currently your biggest mover of the race in the 55. Jonathan Bergeron rides in the 9th position, but a tough night for him as he is down 4 positions. And rounding out the top 10 currently is Blake Wynn, down 6 from the drop of the green flag. Jonathan Bronson, who nearly caused a caution there in the situation with Noah Carpenter, currently in 11th. Tanner Kalin also up 19 spots. They're battling right now for that position. John Schwartz, who nearly spun the car out, currently rides in 13th position. Been a good night so far for him, for JB Smooth. Up 15 spots is James Johnson. Been a nice night so far for the driver of the number 25. Down 5 spots from the drop of the green flag is Gerald Thanos Pool in 15th position. Jose Gaudino, been a tough night for him, but running in 16th spot, though, at the moment. Tyler McRae, been a rough night for him currently. Been very quiet, nothing he's been able to do in 17th. Joey Keneally, up 19 positions, rides in the 18th spot. Johnny B, who's been a little bit of a slow back marker tonight, he is, though, running in the 19th position mid-pack, so not bad for him so far to miss all the accents we've had here tonight. While Greg Holes runs in 20th, up 7 spots. Robert, why don't you take us to the rest of the field?
Well, we got Sean Patrick. He's running in 21st right now. He's been having a silent night here. I mean, still within reach for the money. Rocky Boyd, he talked about being patient tonight. He had that early penalty, but he's running 22nd. He's doing his thing. A lot more improvement than what we've seen lately. John Friley, he's running 23rd, just keeping quiet. He's right now looking up on Johnny B's outside. PTJ Zeller, he's had a couple run-ins tonight. Just running 24th, going to try to make do with what he can. Brent Mekas, 25th. There's, just riding here. He's within reach of PTJ Zeller. See what he can do tonight. Noah Carpenter, he's still in the pits, running 26. He had that tire blowout, that big incident. It's not looking good for him tonight. Matt Bear had trouble, got caught up in a few accidents. He's running 27th. Derek Colson, he's running 28th right now. He got caught up in that early first wreck. He's just been trying to rebound from that. Art Hendren, he got caught up in a couple incidents. He's going to run back here in 29th, just going to try to cruise it out, see what he can get for some points. Jeff Egger, he's sitting on pit road now, 36 laps down in 30th. Don Jordan now is just starting to come off the pits here in 31st. He's 38 laps down. Jeremy Leto sitting on pit road, earlier this year's winner from Bristol with 3 cars in the field. He's 56 laps down, 32nd. Brad Eblay, he's 33rd out on the track, trying to make up some time. He could maybe pick up a spot or two. Travis Sukup had that hard hit earlier on the inside wall. Somehow has gotten his car back out on the track, running 34th. Daniel Miller, he just said he's done. Had some incidents early, too much damage to fix. Chris Johnson, he's still hanging strong there in the 48. Going to try to get that 48 some more points. It's in the money. It's 110 laps down, 36. Sean Andrews with the early DQ, 178 laps down now, 37th.
Couple of things to mention here. First off, our victory lane is brought to you by Fuel Factor X, presented by KMU Trucking. At Fuel Factor X, consistently save 10 to 20% on fuel, extend the life of your car, and help the world have a cleaner air. The unique Fuel Factor X formula contains multiple ingredients, each designed for a specific purpose, just like superfood for your engine. All-in-one solution increases fuel economy, prolongs engine life and reduces wear, reduces harmful emissions and pollutant, and improves vehicle performance and horsepower. For more info on it, check out mydailychoice.com/DeCarlo Buckeyes. Go to a battle for a second here. Go ahead, Doug. I'm sorry.
Here's an interesting note. After watching the replay, Mark Carpenter said the Turpin forgot to turn in, and maybe he needs to be doing the dishes.
Oh my gosh. We got beef, folks. So we've got the battle. Let's go to the battle for second here. This is actually our best battle on the racetrack. Zach Eros and Alex Crapson for second. But they're in some heavy lap traffic at the moment here, Robert.
Yeah, this is going to be the frustrating part of the race now, where guys have kind of made their way. Like, this is where they're going to be now. They've set their pace, and with 3 cars on the lead lap, and I mean, they're 3 stacked guys, and then you got Austin Edwards 1 lap down, but from there on out, I mean, you got 2-3 laps down. We got a bunch of cars 4 and 5 laps down, 6 laps down. Guys are battling for position because that could be a wave around spot. So for these lead lap guys, it's going to be very, very frustrating.
Absolutely. We got another battle happening. This is a battle for 20th. Greg Holes and Sean Patrick. And see here what Patrick can do. Actually, rather what Holes can do is he has a lot fresher tires than Patrick, 182 to 156 last pit stop, and is trying to open up the gap to over half second. But right now, may work right now because Sean Patrick just had to deal with Jeff Edgar going past him, not for a position here, Doug.
Yeah, not only that, as we were going through the field when we were around Sean Patrick, I noticed, and I saw it again just a moment ago, he is getting out of shape. You mentioned he's got the older tires. He is really struggling off turn 4. Looks like he's got something figured out for turn 2, but that back end is definitely trying to step out of turn 4, so he is just fighting to hold on to that car, hoping for a stop here soon. Jonathan Bergeron just hit pit road.
Absolutely scheduled stop for him. But meanwhile, we are halfway home at Bristol Motor Speedway. Luke Turpin currently leads Zach Edwards, Alex Crapser, Austin Edwards, and Mason Foster. We'll be back. 235 laps are complete here at the half mile of Bristol. Luke Turpin currently leading by 6.5 seconds on Zach Edwards. Alex Krapser is in pit road from third. Austin Evers fourth. Mason Foster fifth. Let's go to a battle for 10th spot. Blake Wynn against Tanner Kalin in a huge pack that looks like it's Charlotte Motor Speedway. Blake, though, Doug, had a close call about maybe 2 laps to go. There was some contact.
Yeah, with a lap car no less, he is doing everything he can up on that top line, and you're right, it does look a bit like Charlotte here, as you got 2 distinct lines side by side, and nose to tail out here. Wynn is really getting up in the wall, and you can see there's already a ton of tire rubber up there, debris up there, that if you get too high, that back engine's going to go straight into the wall.
Well, sparks flying too, Colgan, with the lights on, under the lights here at Bristol, with the dark skies. It's a pretty cool sight for sore eyes, and I've seen it too.
Oh yeah, you can't beat night racing, especially short track racing, and it's even better because it's XCAL.
Oh, absolutely. I call this pre-race. I call this the Bristol night race hangover, as when you saw Wayne got loose off of turn 2. I was at the night race Saturday night. That was a lot of fun to watch, and I'm still a little bit tired after a fun weekend down in Tennessee. I'm pretty glad as well, and told a couple of friends this. I'm so glad that I got out of Tennessee the right time. I left Sunday morning, and what happened on Monday night? The Tennessee Titans got spanked from the Buffalo Bills.
And that was even a better night last night to watch.
Oh, yes. It surely was. So we got some pit stops happening underway at the moment. Zach Edwards has brought the number 6 car into pit road from the second position. But as always, there's something you got to remember. This is pit road here. While, you know, this is a half-mile circuit at Bristol Motor Speedway, pit road here, Doug, feels like forever.
Oh gosh, yes. Even if you're just going down the single pit road, you feel like you're driving forever, and you can sit there and watch guys come around you out on the track, and it's frustrating and aggravating, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it is so easy to end up speeding here. You have to really focus on, you're on pit road, you have to really focus on your pit road speed. Otherwise, you're just going to end up shooting your own foot off here.
You see Krapser as well trying to make his way up through the field, currently in 11th, but we've got a good battle happening for 12th, though, behind him. And John Schwartz and James Johnson. A car length and a half separate them, Robert.
Schwartz, he's just one of them guys. I mean, Schwartz has been in this position more times than James Johnson. So I see him. He's just playing his cards. He's just doing his thing. You're going to see Schwartz in the top 10 by the time this is over. James Johnson, though, is having a hell of a run, running 13th right now. Last week, I think he finished, in the top 10 or something? So, I mean, he's on a roll here.
Jim, I've raced with Jim for the last couple of years, and I can tell you he knows how to get it done. XCAL is definitely a different beast than most groups you run with on iRacing. The length of the race is longer, the complexity, getting everything in. It's a huge investment of both money and time, and it's a learning experience that first season. Jim's only been here since the massive Well PD last year, and he's finally started coming alive here later in the season. I think Jim, if he chooses to run the entire next year, I think we'll see him up in the money for sure.
Hey, during green flag stops, you just got to go down your own pit road, right?
I believe so.
Well, Johnson Schwartz just went down 2 pit roads.
I believe it's a single pit road. It's a full pit road. They expressed it in the drivers' meeting. So
single during green and then yellow full.
It looks like they're doing full all the way around.
Because I thought we were under the understanding before is single. Okay, so I was just gonna say about crap myself because I've seen Schwartz do the full pit road. So
it looks like full pit. Let me check my notes.
Because I thought I seen earlier people going down single pit road.
We check here to confirm.
Hey Danny, if you're still out there, can you confirm for us?
Yeah, Danny will know.
Danny knows everything.
Yes, absolutely.
In fact, I'm going to get Danny's phone number when I'm having problems at work with IT stuff. I'm going to call her and ask her. Thanos is coming to pit road.
Leader is
Austin's
in and Luke Turpin. Oh, we got trouble off the two. Bronson's around with Brent Mekis. That will not be a caution, but it's a heartbreak for Bronson, who has been making his way up through the field. He's been in a couple of wrecks tonight, but that one is another tough break here. Doug, let's see if we have a replay.
Oh, my goodness. Right coming off pit road, Bronson accelerates. Mekis is just a little slower on the gas, and Bronson just pounds into the side of Brent Mekis. That one's a bit of a crazy one that you just see under green flag stops, but what a heartbreak for him.
Yeah, I don't think Robert Mekis saw that one coming.
No, that's an age thing there. I mean, Bronson, I mean, I know you want to get out there quick, but man, I mean, you've seen Mekis, you've raced with him for how long this year? You've seen what he was doing there. I mean, he's trying to make up time, and the marbles down there probably didn't help either, and pushed right up into Mekis. But one guy, I want to point out one guy, because he said earlier, Johnny B.
Yes.
You know, yes, he had been known as a back marker. The guy is running 19th place. He's running smooth. Green flag pit stops. Hasn't missed a beat. Back into 19th again. Only 8 laps down. I mean, you look at some of the names that he's around, too. I mean, the guy's been doing a phenomenal job all night.
Only with 4X tonight, by the way, for those wondering at home.
I love Johnny B. Great guy.
Yeah, who doesn't love Johnny? I love working with him when I can. We have 5 drivers that have 0X tonight, for those wondering. Those drivers are Ryan Seams, Zach Edwards, Austin Edwards, Mason Foster, and Alex Krapser.
Not surprised that Seams does not have any. I think he had the lowest incident count last week as well as he came through that field, and I know he's had a couple of 0X races here lately. He's just that good at keeping the car clean, keeping it out of trouble, and you know, he's got that big fan club as well, so I'm golly cow!
Oh, man, what in the world was the 48 thinking? That's Chris Johnson.
I think he has a little bit fresher tires. He come in there and didn't expect Johnny B to be that slow, and the
51's in the wall.
That's the trouble with running this high line anywhere. When you go, you commit. You can't slow down. You can't slow down, so you're going to hit the guy in front of you. So, I mean, I can't blame Chris too much. And this is a hard track to keep your eye ahead of you, too, because when you come around them corners, you don't know what's around the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. So, after pit stops, leading for, I believe, the first time today is Alex Krapser. Up by just under a second on Zach Edwards, then Luke Turpin 1.7 seconds behind Alex Krapser. So this is the closest, I believe, we've seen the top 3 on this green flag stint at the moment, Doug.
Yeah, they're definitely closing up, and there's 3 different pit strategies playing out here. It's interesting. These drivers are, Krapser stopped on 235, Zach Edwards stopped on 241, Luke Turpin stopped on 253. They're all still on the lead lap, and Turpin the freshest tires out there, whereas Alex definitely has some older tires that are going to come into play here as Turpin gets it up to speed. After 10 laps, he's finally got the heat in him, and he is starting to run Zach and Alex down.
After seeing all the cautions we've had, especially during the pit sequence and everything, now you start to wonder, maybe should I stay out longer now? But there's always that one pit stop, green flag pit stop, that's going to shoot yourself right in the foot.
That is very often the case, as Zach Edwards is blinking again.
I think if I'm doing my math correctly here, we would go to around lap 300 and then lap 360. Probably a 2-stop race left to go, I would say, Rob.
You're probably about there. I mean, right now you're just you've kind of made your bed. So this is where, like, some of these guys that are 3, 4, 5, 6 laps down, you can kind of save fuel, try to outsmart people, because you really don't have a lot to gain. You're not going to come back and win this race just off of pit stops when you're that many laps down. So now you just gotta put yourself in a good position, stay out in front of the guy, hope for a yellow, get that wave around. Just play a strategy game.
I'm listening to something interesting here. Let's see, Doug, if we can ride on board here with Luke Turpin. Turpin is pushing the clutch in here. I wonder if he's trying to find a way to do this on maybe one stop and try and get it to. I'm trying to think here what it would go to.
Well, you know, he is killing the momentum. He stopped it, or the fuel
Oh,
mod.
trouble! Oh, Mekis almost gets Turpin. There's a caution.
Holy cow, seeing that in car was fun.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's take a look at the Triane Cooler Crew replay, and there's some contact between Mekis and Hendren.
And Mekis has just almost stopped coming out of the turn. The 37 had nowhere to go, and Mekis comes down and collects Leto. Leto lost a wheel in that one. And you know what?
Oh!
You know what? You've done it, and I've done it, but Rob has to sing the loose wheel song.
Do it,
I don't know what that is.
You know, the old Daryl Waltrip song?
I cannot remember.
All right, you picked a time to leave me, loose wheel. But I don't know what Mekis was thinking there, Colgan.
I don't know if something happened or if he was. It almost looks like. Well, Art and Mekis are teammates. I don't know if Art was coming around and he told Mekis, you know, give me that line, or it's XCAL, man. Sometimes you just scratch your head and wonder what are some of these guys doing.
Yes.
Looking at the guys getting a wave around, this is going to put Austin Edwards back on the lead lap. Mason Foster and Ryan Seams will also get a wave around. That's going to put both of them one lap down. So another caution is going to put Ryan Seams back on the lead lap. And good evening, Kenny.
We have a DQ on Brent Mekis, as just confirming here with my notes, he already had a strike coming into today. And he did, so he is out of the race. Jonathan Bronson's also taking his car behind the wall into his hauler for the night. Should get your wave arounds here any moment, but we've got some pit stops happening. I don't think we are at 2 to green yet, guys.
No, and it's worth noting, I got asked this in a message earlier, and you might want to explain. So a lot of these drivers starting the night with the strike, and that's why we're seeing more DQs than we usually do.
Yeah, so last week was the most penalized event of the season, and if you go to xcalracing.com on Fridays, we have something called Flop Friday, which includes the VPD penalty post, where all the penalties are listed, and the penalties normally lead to what happens the next race. So a couple of penalties cross over into next week, like if somebody caused a wreck and led to a DQ. They could start with a EOL, and if it's severe enough, maybe a strike for the next race. So we've got our wave arounds going around at the moment, and those drivers are Mason Foster, Ryan Seams, and Albert Hewins.
Mason's going to be back in this thing. He's only going to be, one lap down now, and like everyone says, cautions breed cautions.
And what about Albie?
Yeah. Trying to get back into this race. Couple laps down, though.
Regardless, running top 10 right now. Sorry, Robert. Running top 10 right now. Albie Hewen's best run of the season. Great job by him. It's great to see him back up here.
There's been talk Zach Edwards. He's been blinking. Now, see, I'm an old pipeliner. I ain't no computer guy. So, for anyone who's watching though, what would be some tips? How do you fix a blinking problem?
Well, from an IT perspective, I would tell guys, hey, right before the race, reboot your modem, reboot your router about 30 minutes before the session opens. That gives everything time to refresh and settle back in. Make sure you're not on Wi-Fi. Make sure you're hardwired into the modem or router, and minimize what you have running. How much your computer is doing can affect it as well. So a lot of these guys, you know, they're running their stream, or they're running a special spotter pack like the Higgins, the XCAL Superfan spotter pack. They're running all sorts of overlays to check fuel and tire wear and things like that. The more stuff you can turn off and allow your computer just to focus on running iRacing, the better off you're going to be.
What you're saying is, when you come to XCAL, you be XCAL.
That is the best way to put it.
All right, we are going green this time by. Let's reset the field. We've got 3 drivers on the lead lap. Luke Turpin and Alex Krebs are on row number 1. Row number 2 is Zach Edwards in 3rd. Then in 4th, couple rows behind is Austin Edwards. In 5th, tail end is Mason Foster. 6th, Ryan Seams. 7th is Albie Hewins, just about mid-pack. 8th is Joe Campbell, who restarts with the front. John Schwartz is 9th in front, and Jonathan Bergeron is also part of the double file lineup in 10th. But let's watch Turpin here as we get set to come back to the green flag.
Turpin controls this one. He fires, and they are underway. Green is back in the air, and Turpin quickly trying to get ahead of Krapser as they go into 1.
Let's watch this from the telesign blimp.
We got 3 cars, 4th, 5th, and 6th. 1 lap down. We get a caution. We got 6 cars back on the lead lap, and that is Ryan Seams, Mason Foster, and Austin Edwards. 3 guys that could be a real threat to these other 3.
Absolutely. Oh, Austin!
Joe Campbell's loose.
Austin dirt tracked it into turn 1 and 2, made a great save. But I think that was a side effect there of cold tires, and a battle for the lead is on. Krapser down to the inside, Doug.
Yeah, Krapser shoots it down into the turn and gets the nose ahead as they come down the back straightaway. Fresh tires playing out here. He's got more grip, and he gets the move.
Hang on, Luke. Back in 3rd. He lost 2 positions there. That high side just doesn't have enough steam at the moment here, Robert. And losing some more track time to Austin Edwards. Not a position, though. Definitely something that Austin wants to see.
This track is just all about momentum. You got to build that momentum. It's just dirt. And Marty, you like your dirt racing, I think. I mean,
I love dirt racing.
I come from dirt. That's where I come from. It's all about build momentum. You just can't go low to high. You gotta take steps and build that momentum to get high, and then you just start moving.
Absolutely. So that's your best battle on the racetrack. Got a couple of other races happening for position. Mason Foster, Ryan Seams still trying to work together to get their way back up towards the front of the field. The next guy ahead of them is Austin Edwards, who's 5.3 seconds up. So that kind of gives you a good sense, Doug, of where the leaders are on track compared to Foster and Seams.
Yeah, they're back away. I mean, Austin is mixed in with the leaders. He's trying to unlap himself the old-fashioned way, and he's definitely got the car to do it, as we saw him making moves earlier in the race on the high side. And I don't know if he's trying to unlap himself or just keep himself there, but he's doing a great job staying with the leaders as always. Meanwhile, 5 seconds back, Mason and Ryan have some other lap traffic to fight through to get back up to this lead pack. And Albie Hewins, who is at the tail end of the same lap, is actually ahead of them right now just due to the way that it fell when they came out of the restart.
We've got another good race happening, this time for 11th spot. Blake Wynn against Tanner Kalin as Wynn tries to use Keneally as a pick, but not working there, though. That's a good race happening, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, Blake, he's one of them ones that he likes to fire off quick. Tanner, he's one of them long-run guys, I think. I mean, you got Mason there, too, around. Mason, I don't think, is going to be a huge threat. He's just looking for that extra caution here. Just doesn't want to be part of it. His lap back.
Absolutely. Just about a car length and a half separating the top 2 together. Zach trying to plan out his move. Ooh, a little bit loose off of turn 4. I think Dougie caught a little bit of the apron there.
Yeah, and you got to be really careful. You want to get as low as possible in the center of the turn, but man, you get too low and that back end's you're gonna come up the track and slide around. You just lose so much grip if you get even a little bit of the apron in these cars. Considering you're on a cup car, a truck here, yeah, you'll be fine, but you've got those a lot more weight behind that car versus here. These things are several hundred pounds lighter and less power too, so again the momentum thing comes into play, and if that momentum sends you up the track, you're in trouble. Another driver having a great race here, and one of my picks earlier in the race, Gerald Thanos Poole, currently up in 13th, about a lap behind Tanner Kalin in 12th. He continues to fight his way forward.
Absolutely. Thanos has had a quiet night tonight, Rob. He's kept that car inside the top half of the field and is running in 13th. He's dropped 3 spots from the drop of the green flag tonight, but having a good car so far at the moment, only 5 laps down.
Yeah, I tell you what, Poole's been, he's impressed me. A lot of these guys have impressed me. I mean, Joe Campbell, he hasn't been known really for his short track racing. He's running 8th place. Poole's running 13th. Rocky Boyd, he started out 5 laps down because he had to serve an iRacing penalty. He's up to 16th, so he might have got his head screwed on straight after Lanier. And, haven't really heard much problems with him. Johnny B's running 19th right now. Some really good solid guys that's finally getting what they deserve, running in the top 20.
Zach Edwards, though, putting a lot of pressure on Alex Krapser, and the 6 is blinking. Remember, we talked about it earlier, how Zach was warned earlier tonight for blinking. So far, though, a little bit improving just a little bit, but not really a lot of improvement, though, and it could lead, Doug, to an Aaron Hellebusch black flag.
Yeah, that would just be heartbreaking. He's having another great night here tonight, but just that one thing could ruin another great run for him. Hopefully he can, it smooths out for him, but man, if I were if I were Zach Edwards, I'd tell everybody in my house, turn off your Wi-Fi, get off the network, leave it to me because I'm running in second. I'm right on the back bumper of the leader, and I want a shot at this.
Half a car length separating the top 2, and they got some traffic ahead. I think you can see like 4 drivers from your perspective entering turn number 1, so see what happens. Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
Well, when Hellebusch, he gives out that final warning that you've been blinking, and I've been in those races, and nothing's happened for quite some time, and they're still blinking. All I picture is Hellebusch sitting behind the desk, sitting there waiting, and he's going to hit that button, eject your seat, because he's going to do it at the worst time. You've been given so many warnings. I mean, if he doesn't get it straightened out here soon, it's going to happen at the worst, most possible time when it's going to piss him off.
Absolutely. It could be now, it could be lap 350, lap 400, who knows. Keep in mind as well, if he does get black flagged, it will not count as a strike. It just means go down pit road, will hold you, try and fix it as much as you can. Zach, though, got maybe a better runoff at turn 4 than Alex did, though.
Yeah,
anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, he gets, it seems like, their teammates are running the same setup, or similar setups, but it just seems like Zach gets a better run off, but entry to mid-turn goes to Krapser every time.
300 laps are complete, 144 laps to go. Battle for the lead is on between Alex Krapser and Zach Edwards. Stay with us, you'll watch it.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Caution flag is out. We have a pileup in turn 1, and it involved Mason Foster, who is looking to get a wave around, but the wreck involves him. Ryan Seams, Albie Hewins, Blake Wynn involved amongst the notables. Let's take a look at the Tri-Equal Crew replay.
Yeah, I mean, we go off of lanes and XCAL. I don't know who to blame that one on there.
Yeah.
Is Chris Johnson or Mason? Mason anticipated Chris to come higher. Chris held his lane. I can't tell by the lane grooves who to blame, but Foster definitely got some right front damage. I think Blake lost his right front.
Oh, they called it called on Mason Foster, and he already had a strike. Foster is out of the race and disqualified. Ah.
Yeah, this is one thing I agree with having lane rule. I agree with it because it's easy to call on, but drivers got to know the racing groove. And in my eyes, as a race car driver, Mason did the right thing coming up, but in XCAL terms, Chris did the right thing. He held his lane, but that's not the fastest way around the track. He cut that corner. So it's one of them things. It's a 50-50 ball. I think no matter what, Joe's going to be ticked off.
Absolutely.
Looks like Ryan Seams took a little bit of damage in that, but not too bad, and he should be one of the cars waved around here. Should see Austin Edwards, Ryan Seams, and I believe Albie Hewins will also get a wave. So we'll put Austin back on the lead lap.
All the wave around cars are on pit road, so we'll get those in just a moment.
We went from having maybe 6 guys to being a shot for the win to
down to 3.
Yeah, well, Austin, he's in fourth. Is he going to get his lap back? Ryan Seams went another lap down, I think, by fixing some damage.
Absolutely. Something to think about as well is, we got the driver's panel lap 312. We talked about the window. It's just about 64 to 70 laps. This could be a race of fuel mileage. This is going to come to, this could be, we'll have to stop again just around lap 372 or 375 at least. But then when you add 60 to that, that becomes 335 laps. So this could be, if this is going right, if we go green to the end, this could be a fuel mileage race to the end here. Guys.
I don't think it's going to come down to that. If they go 64 laps from here, we're on lap 315, so that puts them at lap 380, and then it's just a 64 lap run. It actually is about perfectly timed for these guys to make it on one stop, and most of these guys have been, 70 laps, maybe even a little bit more. So I think everybody is good. I don't see us having a fuel mileage race at the end here, but it might get close for one or two, but the vast majority will be okay.
Absolutely. So we should have the lights go off this time.
Austin did not get waved around.
No wave arounds, I believe, were issued because they were all on pit road.
Yeah, Austin, he's starting 4th place there, but 1 lap down.
All right, so we're going back to green this time. Alex Crapser, Zach Edwards on row number 1. Luke Turpin will restart a couple rows back in 3rd position. Austin Edwards outside row 2 in 4th, but a lap down. Albert Hewins is 5th. Ryan Seams out pit road in 6th. Joe Campbell 7th. John Schwartz 8th. Jonathan Bergeron is 9th. And Gerald Thanos Poole is up to 10th. So we come back to green. We'll have under 130 laps to go at Bristol.
This is going to get really dicey as the pace truck drops in.
Absolutely. What's going to happen here on this restart? About to find out. Crapser holding serve for right now, and Zach Edwards tucking down to the bottom. They're all clear. Nobody going down to the bottom until now.
Yeah, you're talking about 2 teammates. You know that restart was definitely worked on between the 2 of them. and they got it exactly how they wanted it.
Absolutely. Big stack up mid-pack, but it appears that we are good to go. Zach Edwards still trying to keep up with Alex Krapser for the race lead. Luke Turpin, where he restarted, he's able to keep behind Zach Edwards. Oh, excuse me, no, actually, he's way back. In fact, 1.6 seconds behind on the race leader. Has a couple of cars to pass before it gets up to Zach Edwards, and one of them is Austin, Robert.
Yeah, with Austin, I don't know what you do here if you just ride. I mean, in my eyes, I just ride. Your fourth place, you needed, well, now like a 10th or better finish to wrap up the championship. But we all know Austin wants to win the race. It's hard to judge here right now. I mean, I think maybe just ride around, save the fuel. We're going to get at least one more caution, I think.
Yeah, plus, you know what? Austin is looking to break that record this year. And I believe he only needs one more win to do it. So yeah, he might ride for a little bit, but I think almost 100 laps to go. I think we're going to see him push to get himself back on the lead lap. That way, when the caution comes out and he has unlapped himself, he'll be back up at the front with the rest of the lead lap cars.
The Legends Oval coming up in Charlotte plate race, that's a 50-50 for either way. So this is his best place to break the record.
Absolutely. Warning, by the way, on the 29 as he blinked earlier, but hasn't been doing it as a lot as Zach Edwards. So on lap 325 at the moment, time to look at our full field rundown brought to you by Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists of the Upstate. From minor cosmetic damage to complete restoration, Alloy Wheel Repair Specialist offers professional and affordable alloy wheel repair. We can straighten and refinish your wheels with a custom color of your choice. And if your rims are beyond repair, we have access to the best quality OEM replacements. For more info, check out awrswheelrepair.com. Robert, why don't you take the top 20 here?
All right. Well, we got Alex Krapser in the lead. He's been running strong all night. Zach Edwards is following right behind him in second place. Just riding right behind his teammate, Luke Turpin. Same thing, he's running third. I think he's saving some fuel. Austin Edwards is running fourth, the first car, one lap down. Sitting right behind first and second, trying to get that lap back. Albert Hewins is having a hell of a run, running fifth place. I don't know if he's ever finished in the top 5 in XCAL, but tonight's looking like a good night. Ryan Seams, Mr. Consistency here. He's running sixth place, 2 laps down. He's still got to fight for this. Joe Campbell, another car, also a JNS car, the leader of JNS. He's running 7th, having a hell of a run. John Schwartz, typical of him. Where's he at in the beginning of the race? Here he is at the end, running 8th place, 4 laps down. 4 laps down also is Jonathan Bergeron. He had problems earlier. He was getting a little tight, running 9th. Gerald Poole, he's 10th place. He's also having probably one of the best runs that he's had all season. Blake Wynn, he's been struggling tonight, still been putting forth some effort. He's running 11th. Tyler McRae, he's running 12th, 6 laps down. Just doing a very good job. Points tonight, very nice. Tanner Kalin, he's running 13th, just having a good solid run. Just running that outside line, doing what he has to do to get some points for Fastlane. Rocky Boyd, he started 5 laps down from an iRacing penalty early in the race. He's only 8 laps down now. 14th place, he's in the money. Heather Patrick, also known as Sean Patrick, he's running 15th place, 8 laps down, trying to chase Rocky Boyd down for that 14th spot. 9 laps down, Greg Hall, 16th place, just doing his thing. Johnny Brancaccio, he's running 17th, 9 laps down. He's having probably one of the best nights that I've seen in a long time in XCAL. James Johnson, running 18th. He's just coming off pit road. It looks like he's having some problems. John Friley. Now John Friley just moved up to 18th, passing James Johnson. Mason Foster, he's 20th. He's going to fall back to DQ for the night.
Mason Foster currently scored in the 21st position. He's been involved in 2 wrecks so far tonight. Jose Gaudino involved in the last caution. None of his business, but is running in 22nd. Derek Colson also having a tough night tonight, but is in 23rd spot. Joey Canelli's up 13 positions tonight in 24th spot, but hasn't been able to make his way up really into the top 10 or top 15. PDJ Zeller is in 25th, currently behind the wall. Art Hendren runs in the 26th position. It'll about a lap away from making a pass for the 25th spot. Tough night for Art as well. Jeff Edgar is 27th position. He's been involved in a wreck tonight. Don Jordan scored in 28 of 5 spots, and he is loose off of Joe Campbell, but makes a nice save out of it. Close call for the 61. Noah Carpenter, who was leading, then got in the wall after contact with Luke Turpin, battling for the race lead. He is in 29th tonight. Jonathan Bronson out of the race in 30th spot. Jeremy Leto in 31st. Has been another rough and tough night for the 84 machine. Brent Meck is out of the race in 32nd. Chris Johnson scored in 33rd spot. Behind the wall, Travis Sukup 34th, Brett Epley 35th, and out of the race, 36th, Daniel Miller, 37th, Sean Andrews. Let's go back to the race for the lead here. Alex Krapser and Zach Edwards. The gap is remaining consistent. Even lap times, Doug. 16:46 last time by.
Yeah, I do have to interrupt. I've gotten news here that Mason Foster is not at all happy with Chris Johnson and is looking for Chris Johnson right now in the pits.
Uh-oh. Get the officials ready. We got beef on pit road.
And it's worth noting that Mason, a J&S car, and Chris driving an EHP car again here tonight. So, yeah, could that rivalry be heating back up after the peace treaty earlier this season?
Absolutely. Who knows what could happen there. They're watching up front. Zach not giving up on Alex. Keep in mind they are teammates out of the J&S camp, so not going to race each other hard maybe until they know they've got the win in the bag.
Probably not, but they, like you said, they're both being extraordinarily consistent. Their nose to tail, not really pushing the issue, but they're able to work together. Alex opens the door on the lap car. Zach goes through it, and they're keeping a bit of a gap on Luke Turpin as well. That's giving him a little bit of breathing room, but Austin Edwards in 4th place, still right behind the leaders, looking to get himself unlapped.
Let's go to a battle for the 8th spot between the 01 and 717. The John and John show. Schwartz against Bergeron.
Bergeron just very quiet and very consistent out here. Rob was talking earlier about the fact his car seemed to be handling badly in the early going, but he has gotten it fixed. And here he is running in 9th place, battling with Schwartz, doing an amazing job.
Absolutely. Nice night for both of them so far. You know, it was a tough time of that long run for Bergeron here, Colgan, but I think he's been able to rebound enough.
Yeah, I just wonder if maybe he set his car up for tonight, and that's why he struggled so early in the day today.
Also got a battle happening for 16th. Greg Holz and John Brancaccio. Watch this closely, folks. This could get good.
Both cars have significant damage.
And you got 2 clean guys. They're going to show each other respect, too. I mean, no one's going to take anyone out. I mean, Johnny looks a little faster there on the bottom. Greg's just getting that little bit of a run off the corner. Nope, I hate to break it to y'all, but I got to leave. I have some other things that I promised to get to.
Absolutely.
But it's been fun.
No worries. Great job tonight, Colgan. Glad you could join us in the booth tonight. See you next week, man.
Always good to have you, buddy.
Yep, I'll be back next week to give my expertise on who's being stupid.
Leto's up in the wall. He's got issues. And it doesn't look like he's got a flat tire at the moment.
He's got, that car looks like it's been in a demo derby. He's been in the wall, nose first, tail first, side first, multiple times. He's been into other cars. I'm surprised with the new damage model that car is even still running.
Absolutely. Very impressive from him at the moment. Oh, man. Oh, man. Hang on, Alex. Art and Alex got together. Opens the door for Zach for the race lead.
Still a little banging going on here as Crapster's going to come back and Austin sees his opportunity. This might be Austin's shot to unlap himself.
Absolutely. Austin saw a hole open. He may go for the daylight and take it. Wow, Zach nearly takes out Austin there. But now that splits up the J&S drivers. Not what Zach wants to see right now at the moment. Right now, if I'm Austin, unlap yourself, get back on the lead lap, and get yourself up in the front in case we get another caution.
Yeah, Austin's got himself in the perfect position here. I think it's just a matter of time now before he unlaps himself, and then it's just ride it out and wait for that caution.
Half a car length, down to a quarter of a car length as Austin pull up inside. He doesn't at the moment. Can tell you this as you're on board Austin, trying to get back on the lead lap and wants it badly. Again, top 10 spot, he clinches the championship tonight.
And currently running in fourth, but man, you know, he pretty much, as you see sparks fly in front of him, you know he's pretty well got this thing locked up. He's just got to ride it out, but he wants that win. He wants to set a new record. He wants to bury the competition, as he put it, especially Luke Turpin, and show who the best in XCAL is here tonight.
Now, what are you thinking here if you're Zach Edwards? I wouldn't want to be dealing with Austin Edwards right now at the moment. I want to keep him behind.
Yeah, Zach is definitely going to look for a hole to put himself back in with his teammate, but Austin is just too fast. He even opens that bottom line because Austin has been able to make moves up top throughout this race, and here he goes.
Look at this. He's going to try in the crossover move here. Get the banking. Slingshot to the inside. Wants to unlap himself the classic way. Almost goes up the racetrack. That's how much speed he had. He had to get on the binders.
And now that just opens the door for Zach, but Austin sends it down into the turn.
Whoa!
Oh, Austin is wicked loose right now.
He used a little bit too much of his momentum there, and it cost him a lot of time, and now he's trapped one lap down behind two of the J&S cars.
Yeah, and you know they are not going to give him an inch here tonight, especially when they're running 1-2. They do not want him back on the lead lap.
Absolutely, and now Zach Edwards pulls up to the spoiler of Alex Crapster battling for the race lead. Keep in mind, one more stop to go here, Doug, and it's coming in about 10 to 15 laps from now.
Yeah, in fact, here in about another lap or two, everybody can go the distance from here. So, you know, pit strategy may come into play here, but it's worth noting that as long as these two J&S cars keep Austin behind, if he gets waved, if a caution comes out, he gets waved around. He has to start at the tail end of the field. Whereas if he unlaps himself here the old-fashioned way, guess what? He restarts up front with them, and they definitely do not want that.
Absolutely, and you saw Zach Edwards move Matt Bear out of the way. You know the Mad Bear's not going to like that. He's thinking about maybe putting a bumper on Zach Edwards. He don't care.
Yeah, I think Matt's oh no!
Both of the top two drivers were blinking.
And Matt Bear is about to close back up on Zach, and you know, Matt's had a rough night. That temper's probably flaring just a little bit, and given the opportunity, I have to think you're right. I think Matt's going to use that bumper.
And now Austin Edwards is getting held up from the 420. See what happens here, as I think he'll let the 18 go through.
No, Matt's still fighting him.
This is not what the 18 wants to deal with right now, as we got Albert Hewins in for what could be his final stop of the race.
And with Albie being the first of the J&S cars on pit road, we can expect the rest of the team down pit road before the consortium back down pit road here shortly for their final stops. Don Jordan moves up and lets the leader go by, and look, here's Blake Wynn in 11th place, about to lose another lap.
Let's go to 12th though. Tanner Kalin just got past Tyler McRae on the high side. You know how fast of a car Tanner's got, but he is just about a lap ahead of Blake Wynn. It's going to be a tough time.
And look up here in 10th place. Gerald Thanos Poole has a top 10 run going right now. He is having a great night. Hopefully that continues. Last year at this time, he was up in the top 5 late in the race, but a big wreck in front of him took him out. Hopefully we see that Kings of Thrash car in the top 10 before the night's over.
Here we go. Zach Edwards underneath Alex Crapster for the race lead. And Alex shuts the door. 36 degrees of banking helping him out.
I am really surprised to see these two racing each other at all right now. Given how much they have to lose, you would think they would be showing a little bit more patience. Zach's really starting to blink again.
I think the plan is to race each other as long as you're racing each other extremely clean. Do not race each other very hard that you cost yourselves the win. About to put another lap on Jonathan Bergeron.
Bergeron a little loose out of the turn there and almost got the wall right in front of the leaders, but he gets up the track, lets them go by.
Thinking here at the moment, if drivers are trying to go the distance, at what point do they maybe use the clutch? Do they use it now, or do they wait until we get to the final long run? When do you want to be going full throttle?
I think you want to start using it right now. You definitely, while you have this gap and everybody's still out on track while pit stops are cycling, we've seen chaos during pit stop cycles. So the longer you can stay out now, the higher probability that you put yourself in the best position.
Window for the final stop opens in about 3 laps from now.
I think we're seeing the guys that can make it from here already on pit road. Schwartz is in. McRae is in.
And Crapser may be coming in this time. And he is. Final stop underway for the driver, the number 29. Whoa, man, what a save for Alex. Now, could that be a speeding penalty?
Zach Edwards takes the lead, but man, he is blinking. Turpin now in second. Turpin, last season we saw Turpin really stretch the fuel every single race. He won several races based on fuel mileage and just being fast and saving fuel. And, you know, it has not been the case this season, so it'll be interesting to see if he stretches the fuel here.
Absolutely. Pit on lap
Austin's
313, and yes, Austin Edwards is in. That gives Zach Edwards the race lead, by the way. But keep in mind, we know what Luke Turpin is known for last year. Absolutely known for going the longest on fuel and then pitting. That's actually part of the reason why he won a lot of races last season. Alex Crapser looking for his second win of the season. Won on May 3rd at Lanier, his last win back then. Ever since then, he's picked up a string of seconds, a string of thirds. If we look at Zach Edwards, looking for win number 5. Won at Nashville on August 16th. Also had that string of 4 straight wins from May 31st to June 28th. And you got Austin Edwards looking for 11 wins, which would be the record breaker. Unofficially, I would confirm here with the stats.
Zach way out of shape out of turn 4. He's headed to pit road now. He barely held on to that thing coming out of turn 4.
I think he was trying to get that car locked down and ready to pit. Oh, so close for him.
Now Turpin reclaims the lead on lap 384, and now it becomes a question of, does he stretch the fuel here? No, he doesn't.
No, Turpin in. Turpin making his final stop of the race.
Craps are just a couple of laps from reclaiming the lead, and he is not going to have his teammate there to help.
So I can confirm that... Actually, hold that thought. I'm actually wrong on that stat. My bad. Austin had 10 wins last season. And this would be the record breaker, so that is true. For those wondering at home. So Turpin in for his final stop, trying to fill the tank up with as much fuel as possible.
Lap 385, final pit stops well and truly underway, and a lot of guys just haven't completed them.
Turpin is out, and he'll have fresher tires to Alex Krapser by about 8 laps. Edwards has fresher tires by 6 laps. And Austin Edwards is still 1 lap.
While Alex Krapser leads, we'll take our final
Go ahead,
commercial
Doug.
break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Taking you to the finish here at Bristol Motor Speedway, coming to 46 laps to go here. And what's been a great one in the Cancer Research Institute 444, great charity event XCAL Racing is putting on here tonight. Next week, the beginning of Speed Weeks, our final weeks of the season in XCAL Racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway, North Carolina. Next week, we race on the Legends Oval. So don't miss that out on that. And then 2 weeks from today, it's the championship race at the Tri-Oval of Charlotte Motor Speedway. All start times at 7:30 p.m. Pre-race 7:20 on the family of How to Suck It iRacing networks. Alex Krapser leading with 45 laps to go. Zach Edwards and Luke Turpin, the top 3, the only drivers on the lead lap. 1 lap down is Austin Edwards in 4th, and 5th is Ryan Seams at the moment. Something I did some research here. Krapser did win this exact race last season, so looking to defend his gladiator sword.
Yeah, and he's doing a great job of it now. He has a 6 1/4 second lead over his teammate Zach Edwards. So right now, knowing that they've got 42 laps to go, no more pit stops, you got to give it to Krapser having a great stop, gets back out here with a massive lead. It's going to be hard for anybody to run him down without a caution.
Absolutely, a 6-second lead on Austin Edwards. Last time by, though, for Austin, he was 0.2 of a second better than the race leader. This time by at the line. time. It was about 0.05 of a second better than Alex Crapser. So we'll see what happens here. It would be a big win for Alex Crapser. Oh, he's got cars loose in front of him. They were 3 wide, and the odd man out of that was the 60 car. In a close situation of Rocky Boyd, who's currently 14th.
Rocky having a good run tonight. Problems early on, but he's managed to keep himself in the fight, keep moving back up 18 spots from where he started. So a great run out of Rocky tonight.
16th spot, John Brancaccio just got past Greg Holmes for the spot. And a great run for Johnny B tonight. I got to check the stats. I want to say this is one of his best nights for sure. This would be his best finish of the year if he can hold on. His best finish so far is a 21st, both at Charlotte and Texas this season.
And Kenny Tripp just dropped in the comments, he just got here, wants to know what he missed, and I wouldn't even know how to summarize this one. I mean, it's...
Well, let's just say Bristol, baby.
Yeah. Cautions have 3 cars on the lead lap, and some of the top contenders started the race at the back with penalties, and they're fighting to get back up there. And if Austin Edwards finishes in the top 10, he'll lock up the title tonight.
Absolutely. Austin Edwards currently scored in the 4th position.
Not to mention, the J&S team has Alex Crapser in first, Zach Edwards in second. Seems as a J&S car in 5th. Albie Hewins in 6th. Joe Campbell in 7th. And Thanos in 10th.
Now, something I'm thinking of here. If you're Austin Edwards, are you hoping we see some cautions breed cautions here?
No. At this point, you've got 32 laps left to go. The top 2 occasionally blinking. You just want this thing to stay green. You know you've got the title locked up here. And it would take 2 cautions to put him back in contention. 1 to put him back on the lead lap. 1 to put him back up with the leaders. That's too high of risk of being taken out.
Absolutely. You're right on that. Good point. So we'll see what happens here if Austin can stay alive. I don't know if right now, as we're approaching 30 laps to go, if he's thinking about the win at the moment. I think he's just thinking, hold on to a top 10 and I'll be crowned champion for 2022.
Yeah, Crapser and Zach are so far around the track. I mean, if you look at it, Austin's at the other end of the straightaway from Zach. He is gaining on him. And Crapser is half a lap ahead of Zach Edwards right now. So these guys are far enough apart that Austin just needs to ride from here.
Absolutely. He would clinch the championship today. We'll crown him officially after Charlotte Motor Speedway weekend for the final race of this season. We've got another good battle happening here, and it's the J&S drivers. It's the closest gap, half second, between Albie Hewins and Joe Campbell. I got to do some research on Albie, because if I am looking at this correctly, it would be... I want to say that would be his best finish of the season if he finishes 6th. And it would be. He's got only 1 top 10 this season, a 7th at South Boston. So if I'm Joe, I don't know. I'd probably just hold position here and just let Albie take a 6th. He lets him go.
Yeah, Albie just moving out of the way for the boss. And, it does make an interesting point as here comes Zach Edwards around as well, another teammate. They're not going to battle each other as teammates. But, going into this race, Joe having a great race here tonight. Obviously, the next 2 are very questionable races, but Joe could go and bookmark the season with a win at Charlotte, just like he did at the start of the season. Wouldn't that be something for J&S Racing to bookmark the season? And with all the success they've had this season, they've really, really stepped it up from where they were last season.
Joe would get his first top 10 since March 22nd when he had an 8th place finish at Irwindale Inner.
J&S would come out of this season as a whole. If Joe could pull off the win at Charlotte again, man, it would be definitely a season capper, because You look at Austin Edwards with 10 wins this season, but J&S has been picking them up here and there, including the 4 consecutive by Zach Edwards.
Absolutely, that's true.
I think J&S would combine for close to 10 wins on the season, especially if Joe can get one more.
Yeah, you're right on that. I would have to do some research on that. It's true. Let me take a look at that and get back to you on that.
Craps are about to get 20 laps to go, and worth reminding everybody that at 10 laps to go, there will be no more waiver rounds, and at 5 laps to go, there will be no more cautions. Looking at a few other names, Jim Johnson currently up into 18th spot. He's up 11 spots. Sean Patrick up into 15th. Rocky Boyd in 14th. Tanner Kaland running 13th. And Tyler McRae up to 12th. Each of these drivers have picked up 10 or more spots here tonight. Joey Keneally, who started tail end of the field, up 14 spots into 23rd.
So if Crapser can get this win, it would be the 8th win for J&S Racing this season as a whole.
So there you go. J&S last season, very few wins. I think less than 5 wins last season, but here they come. What a season. And the consistency has definitely been there this season to keep putting them in the positions to get these wins.
Tanner Kaland just got past Tyler McRae for 12th on the racetrack. That was your best battle, but Tanner starting to pull away. Look at the traffic that Alex has to deal with. It's a good lead, though, for Alex. 4 seconds at the moment, but he's got to be careful because of the contact between Johnson and Boyd.
Wow, that got sketchy. And could you imagine the reaction if that had gone the other way? Had Chris gotten into and took Crapser out of this one, that J&S and EHP feud would have been reignited in full force.
Absolutely. Remember, Zach has to deal with that as well. 4-second lead is where he is behind at the moment.
Turpin is almost 12 seconds behind Zach at the moment in third. Austin is actually gaining on Luke Turpin. There's still a chance Austin's going to get a podium tonight. He is 7.3 seconds back, but he is a 1/10.5 faster every lap. But 13 laps to go. I don't know if he can make it up. It's going to come down to who can navigate the lap traffic.
Yeah, if he's a 1/10.5 faster, that's going to be tough. And Luke Turpin is in a close call. Was 3 wide with Keneally and Gaudino.
And now just stuck.
Yeah, so not really what Turpin wants to be dealing with here at the moment.
They're finally starting to move up the track and give Turpin a little bit of room here to get by.
11 to go in the Cancer Research Institute 444 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Crapser, if he wins, will repeat as a Bristol winner from last year in the same race. Would be his 2nd win of the season. And I think as well, if I recall correctly, this was the race where Crapser got his first career win in XCAL Racing.
I think he might have gotten one earlier in the season, one of the super speedway races. Jonathan Schwartz is in for a late pit.
Schwartz could not save enough fuel there. Tough blow to his end.
Jonathan Berger and Gerald Poole both should end up picking up a position here. Due to this, Blake Wynn may pick up a position as well. That's going to move Schwartz out of the top 10. Now, I told Thanos prior to the start of this race that he had to go out there and get it done to make up for what happened last season. My God, he actually listened to me.
Yeah.
Less than 10 to go. There will be no more waiver rounds. We are just 2 laps from Aaron saying green, 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 and no more cautions.
Absolutely. Lead is down to under 3 seconds for Zach Edwards on Alex Crapser.
Now, Crapser's been stuck behind the 68 for a while, trying to see how many laps down he is.
Don't know if Alex is being very patient at the moment if he thinks he's got it. And I can confirm, and we're at 5 to go. No more cautions the rest of the race. This was the track that Crapster did have his first career XCAL racing victory.
If
2
I'm
point. Yeah, go ahead.
if I'm Rocky Boyd, I'm moving right now. There was
Crashed on the back straightaway. Bergeron and Matt Bear have crashed. And there was contact for Bergeron. He got loose, and his owner, Don Jordan, spun him out.
There goes Bergeron off into the turn. He is loose, and Jordan has nowhere to go. He backs it up, and Matt Bear, and a big pile up.
John Schwartz gave him the bumper. They had to get past Robert Colgan. Sorry, not Colgan, John Fraley, and there's one car up on the wall riding it. That's Edgar. 2 laps to go for Crapser. Gap is down to 1.6 seconds.
And, Zach is starting to blink really badly. Can he make it the next 2 laps?
Out to see what happens under a mile left at Bristol Motor Speedway. Alex Crapser will see the white flag. 1 lap to go at the last Great Coliseum. At the track he won his first career XCAL race at 1 year ago. Down the back straightaway for the final time. It'll be his 2nd win of the season, his first since May 3rd. Alex Crapser repeats at Bristol. Wins the Cancer Research Institute, 444. Zach Edwards 2nd. Luke Turpin to come across the line 3rd.
Austin's going to come home in 4th and lock up the title. Ryan Seams, another top 5 finish. What about Joe Campbell coming home 6th? Albie Hewen 7th. Gerald Thanos Poole comes home in 8th. J&S just came to play tonight.
Great runs by the J&S team as a whole.
And I guarantee you the entire team, Joe's pulling up to help his team celebrate. Great job by J&S, and a shout out to Thanos. Great job. Way to get it done, buddy.
Talk with your top 3 in just a moment, but a great race tonight at Bristol. Much better race than last year as well, man.
And a lot more entertaining than the spring race.
Yes.
Will the entire consortium join him on the front straightaway? Ryan Seams gets down there, does a burnout from it.
We know Austin Edwards is the champ for 2022. He's clinched it tonight. Not gonna do any burnouts. Gonna let JNS have his have their moment. Definitely a respectful move there. Just waiting for Luke Turpin to make his way into the Discord post race, and we will begin with our top 3 interviews. Don't forget, we will be back next week at the Charlotte Legends Oval. You will not want to miss out on that. Last year, that race there, Doug, while we have time and waiting for the top 3, that was a fun race last year.
Yeah, it was. Just waiting on Luke Turpin, and hopefully Austin Edwards will hop up here in a few moments as well, and we can talk to him. The new champ. Last year he broke the win record with 10 wins, but did not run enough races to get the title, although I did think, despite missing the first, third of the season, he still had a top 10 finish in the points. Said he was coming back this year to lock it in. He gets it done.
Absolutely. All right.
Hey, we did get a reminder to make sure we tell Luke Turpin he's doing the dishes.
Absolutely. So let's begin with Luke Turpin in 3rd. Luke, a good run for you, up 15 spots. Just what were the positives you took away from your race tonight?
Positives, not a bad run. We were in good position early. A little bit of fuel saving kind of got us there. We didn't have the speed of the J&S cars, which I'm not surprised because they're hooked up. I mean, they're dragging the track the whole way around, so they got a setup and a half underneath them. So props to those guys. I'm glad Alex won, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad Alex won. He's a good dude. I'm glad Zach finished 2nd. He's another good dude. 2 good dudes. Good run. The car wasn't good. I'm taking 20th place cars and finishing pretty good with them, so I feel good. Nothing to complain about really other than the grease squad that's out there just slowing you down.
And Luke, I do
yeah.
have to relay some information. Noah Carpenter's dad, Mark, said you have to do the dishes now after that incident.
Yeah, I like to go back and look at it and see what happened. I mean, um, if I did come up on him, I apologize, but should he have been there to begin with? Probably not. Older tires, less fuel, big run. Probably should have run the outside if I was him. But, is what it is. If I came up on him, I apologize. There's no reason for me to hit him. I think he's a good dude, too. I don't know what happened at the end there with him and his buddy Rocky there. They're a little grease squad out there.
Yeah. Well, a great run for you. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Shout out to Matt Bear. He puts us in the race every week. That's just a good task upon itself to do that. So I appreciate him doing that. Greg for showing up every week and fighting hard. He had a great run last week. And then the little bit of help we've been getting from the DVR guys. Like I said, we've had some terrible cars, 20th and 30th place cars all year, and we've just been driving the shit out of them.
Absolutely. All right, man, we'll let you go. Great run.
Thank you.
Luke Turpin finishing third, and we apologize for his language, kids. Let's go to our second place finisher here, Zach Edwards. Zach, great run for you tonight, man. What more did you need for Alex in those final laps?
Track position. Yeah, and I got behind some guys battling for position. They didn't do nothing wrong, but just killed me on my charge there. But we made it a lot closer than I thought we were. How about all these JNS guys? We got like 6 out of the top 10, I think, man. That's
yeah.
Really, it's really
How
good.
about it?
Yeah,
How about it? Ryan 5th, Joe with his best finish since May, Albert tying his best finish of the season, Gerald 8th. Well done to you guys tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's really, really good for our whole organization to put a run together, especially at a place like this with the new damage model even. But yeah, I think we really showed how strong we could be tonight, and glad Alex won it.
Absolutely. Who do you want to give shout-outs to tonight?
I got to give a shout out to this whole team, man. I had to go out of town this weekend, so they did a lot of the testing for me. But I got to thank Allo Wheel Repair, the Upstate, Joe and Danny. I got to give a shout out to Joe too, man. He's having some personal issues, and just let him know that we are standing behind him, and we will. Sorry, Aaron's talking in my ear. We just want Joe to know that we're with him, and that we're thinking about him, and he ain't gonna go through this alone.
All right, we'll let you go, man. Great job tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Zach Edwards finishing in second spot. Now it's time to go to Fuel Factor X Victory Lane, presented by KMU Trucking and Excavating. Your winner tonight, Alex Crapser, second win of the season, and also repeats as the winner of the 444-lap race at Bristol. Congratulations, Matt. It's got to feel good to have that monkey off your back.
Yeah, it definitely feels good. It's been a while since we got that win at Lanier earlier in the season. So, yeah, definitely a lot of second-place finishes, a lot of top fives, some maybe DNF or two between then and there. But good to be back in Victory Lane with you guys up here.
Absolutely, man. How about this car and how about this team for JNS tonight? An incredible run from you in the second half of the race.
Yeah, unbelievable for the team. I think we ended up with 6 guys in the top 10 and 3 in the top 5. So, and anytime you got a lot of cars, that's going to happen. But it's a true testament to the setups that we've been running. Everyone has different feel with the setup that they like. So we got a couple different setups or variations of the same setup floating around. So it's kind of nice to see all of them, finally getting towards the end of the season. We're all starting to run well. And give a shout out especially to Joe. Joe was sick last week, missed the race, and this week comes home with a 6th place finish. So awesome for him.
That lap traffic, though, in the final laps, they did not make it easy for you. You had to work for it.
No, I was trying to get around Rocky, and I knew Rocky was pretty fast, and he had about the same tires as me at that point in the run. So I just kind of rode behind him, and I think I could have gone to the end on fuel, but he helped me save a little bit of fuel just riding behind him in that middle line. So, yeah, the traffic was tough throughout the entire day. At the end, it kind of cleared out, and I was able to gain some time on Zach when everyone was pitting, and I think that kind of helped us get a little bit of a gap and win the race eventually.
Well, next week we've got the Legends Oval at Charlotte. That's going to be be a fun one next week, man. What's the outlook like?
I don't know. Kind of trying to do the same thing we did here. Just show up in the second half of the race and try to win it. I think we were second there last year. I think Austin won. Obviously, he wins a lot of races. By the way, congrats to him. I believe he clinched the championship tonight. So,
yep.
Awesome job, Austin. It's been fun racing with him all year. Yeah, next week should be a good race. What is it, 400 laps at the Charlotte Legends Oval?
400, I want to say. You're right. I don't know off the top of my head.
Decent amount of length race, give you a lot of time to get the car better if it's not good at the start.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, we'll let you go. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Win number 2 on the season for Alex Crapster in Fuel Factor X Victory Lane, presented by KMU Trucking and Excavating. Well, we're going to bring Austin Edwards on in here. Great call, Doug, to bring him on in. Austin Edwards has clinched the 2022 XCAL Racing $5 Tuesday Series Championship. Austin, congratulations, man. How does it feel?
It's pretty crazy, Marty. It's been an up and down year. You know, we finally able to tie the wins that I was able to pull off last season on a limited schedule. So still 2 races in the year. I'm hoping I can break my own record and grab at least one more win here. But as you guys have seen, the competition has been real tough this year. So overall, a crazy day at Bristol, but it was just enough that I'm happy and I can have some real fun these next 2 races.
It was the top 9 to clinch it coming on in, top 10 when you got to lead some laps. But, man, that was not an easy task. We had that caution come out in the middle of green flag pit stops, and you had already pitted, man. It was a tough fight for you, but you were able to manage a 4th tonight.
Yeah, but it was just unfortunate timing at the caution there. There was Alex and Zach and Luke were fast as always, and there was just I'd made an attempt to get around them and get my lap back in hopes for another caution, but at the end of the day, Bristol is just so hard on tires that it didn't quite work out. So overall, a great season, but it's not over yet, so we're going to have some fun these next 2 races at Charlotte.
Absolutely. 2 races left to go. You're looking to break the record. And next week, the Charlotte Legends Oval, where you won there last season. How you feeling about that, man?
We're going to see, Marty. You know, winning a third of the races in one season ain't half bad, but I would love to break that record that I set last season. So we're going to go in there with high hopes. We're going to work hard on it, and hopefully we can keep it in one piece in the process.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to crown you champion at the end of the season officially. Who do you want to give shout-outs to tonight?
Well, as always, a shout-out to my guys at EHP Racing. I know some of them have come and go over the season, but they've all been great teammates off and on. Just good draft partners, good teamwork on the track, doing everything we can, working on setups together. As always, a big thank you to JR Button Boxes and JR Graphics, giving us, I don't know how many paint jobs throughout the season. As always, a big thanks to my competitors for all the fun competition they give me throughout the year. A big thank you to XCAL putting on this crazy racing league. And, man, I'm ready to have fun, Marty. I want to go to Charlotte now.
Absolutely, man. You're the champion. Enjoy it, dude. Congrats.
Heck yeah. Thank you, guys.
Austin Edwards celebrates his 2022 XCAL Racing Championship. He's clinched it. We'll officially crown him 2 weeks from now at Charlotte. Let's bring you your official results here from tonight in the XCAL Racing Cancer Research Institute 444. Alex Crapser takes the win. Zach Edwards 2nd. Luke Turpin 3rd. Austin Edwards 4th. Ryan Seams 5th. Joe Campbell 6th. Albert Hewen 7th. Gerald Poole 8th. John Schwartz 9th. And Blake Wynn 10th. Tanner Kalin finishes 11th. Tyler McRae 12th. Rocky Boyd 13th. Jonathan Bergeron 14th. John Brancaccio 15th. Greg Holes 16th. James Johnson 17th. Sean Patrick 18th. John Friley 19th. And Matt Bear 20th. Doug?
Jose Godino comes home in 21st. Joey Keneally has an awesome comeback to finish 22nd. Derek Colson 23rd. Jeff Edgar 24th. Don Jordan 25th. Art Hendren comes home 26th. PDJ Zeller has a rough night, comes home 27th. And the heartbreak of the night, Noah Carpenter comes home in 28th. Jeremy Leto, the winner in the spring, 29th. Chris Johnson manages to recover some to finish 30th. Mason Foster, Jonathan Bronson, Brent Mekas, Travis Sukup, Brad Eblay, Daniel Miller, and Sean Andrews round out your field.
Your drivers that led laps tonight get 5 bonus points. Alex Crapser led 174, Zach Edwards 10, Luke Turpin 74, Austin Edwards 34, Ryan Seams 1, Blake Wynn led 1 as well. 30 laps from Noah Carpenter and 120 laps from Mason Foster. Alex Krapser led the most laps tonight, so he'll get 5 more bonus points for leading the most laps. That puts him at 185 points tonight. Jonathan Bergeron had the fastest lap of 16.039, finishing 14th. That puts him up into 128 points. Austin Edwards started on pole position. That moves him up to 170 points. And your hard charger of the race went up 21 spots tonight. That was Albert Hewins, finishing in 7th. He gets 152 points tonight. So we move on to the Charlotte Legends Oval, the tightest oval we go to all season long. Going to be a test of patience and endurance throughout the night, Doug, next week.
Yeah, and there is a scene from Talladega Nights that's going to describe next week perfectly. Anarchy.
Yeah.
A lot of anarchy.
Absolutely. Well, we will bid adieu here on tonight on behalf of everyone, the drivers and sponsors at XCAL Racing. Our president is Aaron Hillebush. Our vice president is PDJ Zeller. And all the admins here at XCAL Racing. On behalf of my broadcast partners tonight, Doug Burns, mashing the buttons in his booth tonight. On behalf of Robert Colgan, our driver analyst, I'm Marty Sakala signing off. Congratulations to Alex Krapser, his second win of the season in the Cancer Research Institute 444. So long, everyone.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.